Online and in the Odyssey app at The Fan Rochester. The sports leader, 95.7 FM and AM 950. The Fan Rochester, an Odyssey sports station.
It's time to start the show and talk about the sports we saw. Inside jokes and takes from Danger and Battaglia. Bills and the Sabres and the Amherst. Who gave a microphone to these jerks? Welcome to the sports bar, that's where you are. Welcome to the sports bar, that's where you are. Welcome to the sports bar, that's where you are. With Danger and Battaglia.
Welcome to the sports bar indeed. The Buffalo Bills have signed their star running back, and we're going to dive into the James Cook contract extension throughout the course of the afternoon as we welcome you on in to Rochester's only local sports talk show. Thanks for listening and making us part of your day at 95.7 FM, AM 950. You can hear us in the Odyssey app, iHeartRadio. Tune in and watch us on our stream, The Fan Rochester, on YouTube and on Twitch. Like and subscribe while you're there. I'm Danger. That is Battaglia.
Brandon Bean can't lose because, honestly, I thought he caved in a little bit here. But is anybody upset here that the Bills did this today?
I don't know that anybody's upset. I remember saying that I thought if they paid him north of what Kyron Williams was making, that it was a mistake. But there's a little bit more color that we know now from what we learned this morning as far as some of the terms of this deal. And I want to get into it with you, Gino, and kind of share what some of this might mean for James Cook here. The good news is you have the second best player on offense, the best playmaker that Josh Allen has had in his offense since Steph Diggs arrived in Buffalo a few years ago. And the season looks bright offensively when you have James Cook signed, ready, and good to go.
Yeah, and it alleviates any, okay, I'm going to just kind of ball out, and by doing so, hey, I'm going to want more touches, and I think that was kind of the formula you stick with. If you want James Cook doing what he did in the AFC Championship game last year, he was rested, he was ready to go, you didn't overtax him, use the three running backs. So is James Cook going to become this fantasy RB1 that you must get? Maybe. Is he going to get the 16 rushing touchdowns again? I would be surprised, but this allows the Bills to use the running backs as they see fit.
Josh Reed covering the team for WIVB-TV. He's at practice today. We'll talk to him in the 4 o'clock hour.
And Josh gets the award for media member who got the most FaceTime last night.
Yeah, standing right next to Terry Pagula there and Damar Hamlin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to talk about Hard Knocks, too. Absolutely. We'll get into that here in a second as well. PJ Glasser is the host of Send It In on the BetMGM network. He'll give us some winners when he joins us later this hour, about 20 minutes from now.
Yeah, so there's, we are not that far away from week 0 in college football. PJ's got some thoughts here on baseball here tonight. There are a few games on Getaway Wednesday. PJ Glasser coming up in the bottom of the hour.
Lots to get to with the James Cook extension. We'd love to hear your thoughts at 866-4326, 585-866 4FAN. There were some elements of it that were reported this morning that are kind of inaccurate factually. I think this deal was being touted as the most guaranteed money for a running back in the past 5 years, and you didn't have to do a lot of sleuthing to realize that isn't true. Like Saquon got $36 million guaranteed to
This article's still up on Yahoo right now that James Cook is the most it gets the most contract guaranteed money ever. I'm like, no, it's according to the agents.
Right, and I don't know. I mean, if you're the agent and Brandon Bean was telling you that, was that something you believed, or is that something you just wanted to get out there? Because when this was announced, I'm like, okay, the win-win here for everybody is the agent gets to say that we have gotten him the most amount of guaranteed money in the last 5 years. That's something, if you're a young agent looking to build a base, you could say that. But now you're looking at it and you're like, well, that's not even true. So I almost feel like Brandon Bean did get over on James Cook agent here a little bit with the 4 years, which is actually a 5-year deal too when you break it down and you really kind of look at some of the terms of the deal as they're being shared.
Yeah, like if you have a void year at the end, so if this goes bad, or, hey, the Bills have used up the miles, just like last year, there will come a year where, my gosh, there's a lot of bad contracts on this team. Let's take a half step back. So this was the time to kind of do it.
So some of the elements of this contract, Gino, a $9 million signing bonus, a fully guaranteed $1.28 million base for this year. So the cap hit for this year is non-existent, really. I mean, I don't know.
It's just kind of an extension, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
In 2026, the option bonus, $7.4 million. In 2026, he gets a $250,000 for a workout bonus, a base salary in 2026 of $2.01 million. And again, there's some guaranteed details for 2026, but when you think about what his base salary is next season, and you know the kind of production James Cook is capable of, $2.01 million is an absolute steal. It's a bargain.
Can we pause right there? Because
Sure.
they could have easily made that base. We can kind of assume that if he's healthy, like he's part of this team, why would you want not just to do it now and keep the cap clean for future years? We're already on to the next thing, and I love how people are being cheeky that Connor McGovern should now hold out. Well, you've got McGovern on the offensive line, and you've got Sirens Torrance. There are some guys on that offensive line that are going to need to be paid, Danger. That's next year. In order to do that, all right, I could see that's why we're kind of carving out some space in 2026.
Correct. So for 2026, $5 million of James Cook's $5 million is fully guaranteed at signing. So he'll get the $5 million fully guaranteed for 2026 signing this deal. Another $4.41 million guaranteed for injury, which converts to a full guarantee on February 9th, 2026. The 2026 per game roster bonus, $340,000 total. His workout bonus for 2027, another $250,000. Base salary in 2027, here's where it gets a little bit higher, $9.13 million guaranteed for injury at signing the fifth day of the 2026 league year. $6.22 million becomes fully guaranteed, with the remaining $2.91 million vesting on the fifth day of the 2027 league year. So you can see what Brandon Beane is doing here with the cap and just kind of pushing things down. And we've seen teams do like this. Doesn't feel like it's a situation like what the Saints were dealing with when they had Drew Brees. But there's a lot of things happening down the road. What does the world look like in 2027, 2028 when you've got James Cook still under your control, still under contract, with per game roster bonuses and workout bonuses in 2028,
I would
2029?
Say giving money to the second running back. Giving the second contract to the running back, I should say. Brandon Beane's never done it. But I think it's noteworthy to point out when James Cook came out, the amount of carries he had at Georgia, very limited. Yeah. So that was the appeal of this. So we're just entering, I feel, the prime here of James Cook. I think you're okay. Health-wise, you're okay this year. You would think next year, maybe a third year.
I agree 100%. In fact, his brother is the perfect cautionary tale for a running back in the NFL because they ground him to dust in Minnesota, and you haven't seen that yet with how the Bills have used James Cook. This was an interesting element of the deal that we learned about recently here, the last few minutes. There is a $1 million escalator for 2029. If any 2 years from 2025 through 2028 that Cook participates in 45% of the offensive snaps and the team makes the playoffs in those 2 seasons. So a $1 million escalator for 2029. If within 2025 through 2028, any of those 2 seasons, he participates in 45% of the offensive snaps and they make the playoffs.
So that's when they're talking about, 4 years, $48 million. Okay, that's if everything goes right? That's not on top of the $48 million, right? That's part of what they're spending out here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this, and from the signing now, which we saw today. And by the way, James Cook, zero emotion as he's signing the deal. You didn't see a smile on the guy's face. I mean, like, he's business.
I think that's him, though.
He's business.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, just very quiet.
From signing the contract, it has a value of $10.254 million per year over 5 years. He was due to make $5.271 million in 2025. So Cook gets his money. There's a lot in there. There's a lot in there to kind of like break apart and look at and say, okay, how is he getting paid? The bottom line is the Bills have the extension for Cook, and he's with the Bills. He's the Super Bowl window is now. You've taken care of the guys that you want. You've drafted and developed and retained your guys, which is what a lot of winning organizations strive to do and can't do. There have been a couple of instances where we haven't been able to do that or haven't been able to keep the guys that you've drafted, or you just whiffed on a pick. But when you look at Benford, when you look at Rousseau, when you look at Cook, when you look at Shakir, everybody that got extended this offseason, impressive.
Who is the draft pick that when they walked out the door for the Buffalo Bills, I'm talking in the Bean area, you're like, oh, man, I wish we had that guy back. I mean, you go back any number of years, like you trade away Marshawn Lynch, let's say, for example. But under Bean, like, you're not saying Tremaine Edmonds.
I can say one guy, Wyatt Teller.
Yeah.
That's the only guy I can say. And even Wyatt Teller, I think he's had a couple of good seasons in Cleveland. What you have in Torrance, I think he's probably better than what you had in Teller. So it's hard, like Kyer Elam gone. Like, we don't want that staying on our resume. We'll move off of that guy.
You're not following Cowboy Camp. They love Kyer Elam. I'm like, okay, good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah.
This is great news for the Bills. And it now puts James Cook, and we had always said along when we found out Kyron Williams was going to be the 7th highest paid back in the league, we all kind of said, yeah, okay, well, James Cook isn't going to come sign with Buffalo for anything less than 7th highest paid. And this will move Cook now ahead of Kyron Williams as the 7th highest paid back in the league.
My goodness. Like, if you're just doing this at face value of these contracts, Danger, the amount of money going back to the beginning of this offseason. Now, if you include Cook's $48 million, Allen $330 million, Rousseau $80, Benford $76, Shakir $53, Bernard $50, and now Cook. That's $637 million.
Did you mention Allen in there too?
Yeah, Allen right at the top.
Yeah.
That's more than half of it. But
yeah, that is that's going all in. When you're dealt the best hand you're going to see all night, you put your pinkies out, you push those chips to the middle, and you go all in. That's just smart cards. And the Bills believe this is it. This is the window. This is as good as it can get with this team, with this roster, with this quarterback, with these playmakers. We got to go all in now.
11 o'clock last night is when the deal got done.
Not as much. It wasn't showcased as much as I thought it would have been on Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks. All right. So what do we think here?
Couple of thoughts.
Yeah.
First thought, I've had people asking me, both locally and outside of the market, people that I communicate with, hey, we're going to see you on Hard Knocks? And my answer is like, if it didn't happen last night, it ain't happening, folks.
You said 2%. I said 10. And look, we can. If you're listening to our show, we told you what was going to be, and they right out of the gate. There's Joanne Greason. I'm like, okay, here we go.
We'll know within the first few minutes.
And my gosh, she talked on the show with us about meeting J.P. Lossman, and there was the photo. I'm like, holy cow! Lossman's wearing a CMF shirt.
Yeah, shout out to CMF.
CMF gets the win.
We used to do that all the time. CMF always used to give the players T-shirts or gear to wear underneath their equipment, and then of course the NFL. Has to have and Nike.
Yeah, stop.
Yeah, you can't. You guys can't. We can't do anything with that stuff. Why are we spending this money? They can't even wear it. So, but yeah, that was kind of cool seeing Lossman holding Andreessen in his lap wearing a CMF shirt, and I'm like, that's probably as close as we're gonna get.
Yeah. So that disclaimer, Danger. I thought it was actually kind of boring. It was a lot of stuff. If you're a Bills fan, if you really follow a team you already knew. There was one spot, though, and it's a peek behind the curtain. They have this celebration of wealth every year at Augusta National, but my Danger, there was a celebration of wealth with Terry Pegula and his partners last night, and my gosh, toasting themselves with the champagne. What are we toasting? Like, why are we getting together? What was that? Was that a country club? Was that the Pegula Estate? Wasn't invited.
What's the name of the theme? The Rise of the Champions or the
Thrill of Victory is the name. The other one. This is the one, but the other one is I just call it the money song there.
Right? Yes, the
Thrill of Victory is what it's
the
called.
money song. The one that just when you hear it, you're like, yeah, that's wealth.
There we go.
Yeah,
Have you looked at your 401k lately?
I have.
Yeah. Just let's hit the pose together. Yes. And we're Terry Pagula, and we are just celebrating our wealth.
What were they? What was the celebration? Was it just a party that they were throwing to welcome in Altidore and Vince Carter?
Maybe that's all. Maybe as simple as that. But I'm like, what are we toasting to? What is the champagne for?
Yeah, they hit. Yeah, here's to a good season, everybody. Yes. We'd like to raise a glass, if we can, to our wealth.
Your ship has come in.
It's easy to grin when your ship has come in, and you've got the stock market, Pete. The man who is...
Blesses the man who smiles when he rips a seat.
Yeah. Go ahead, Pookie. Do the honors. They hit all the beats last night. I'm with you. I watched it, and it was a reminder of why I stopped watching Hard Knocks. I'm like, these are the beats that if you've been close to the team, you've heard the Damar Hamlin story a million times, and this is not to knock Damar Hamlin. He's a remarkable individual. His story is going to be memorable. We're never going to forget it. But you hit on that. You hit on McDermott and the skin cancer routine and the sunscreen routine, and that's important. It was again. We dare you to hate this team. Find something about the Bills that you can hate. You can't do it.
Yeah,
There's nothing to hate about this team.
Buffalo Joe. You love Buffalo Joe. And here's the player who died, and you're going to watch him pray on screen.
You're not going to find anything.
What did you, the Bills fan, learn last night, other than Terry Pagula likes giving champagne toast for no apparent reason? Other than to celebrate his wealth.
Yeah. That was
maybe it was we've hit the music again. I figured it out.
Okay,
I figured it out.
Okay, hang on. We'll do it one more time.
Yeah. Gentlemen, Josie, Vince, Mr. Gwelly, thank you for joining me, Terry Pagula. I'm just here to let you know we're at 90% on our PSLs now. Gentlemen, we don't owe a dime on this.
Yeah.
Let's toast our own racket.
I'd like
here.
to raise a glass to Pete Gwelly and Josie Altidore and Vince Carter and remind all of you that you're rich, but I am wealthy. It's still my
right,
team.
Peter? Yes, that's right, Mr. Pagula.
Yeah, where's Mr. Burns?
Pete Gwelly is Smithers. That's right. That's right.
Oh, come on.
Yep.
That was. Yeah, I mean, like, I guess you got an hour to fill. You got 300 hours of footage, and it included going into the Pagula mansion or wherever they had that party, and everybody's just raising a glass in a celebration of wealth.
I'm watching this, and I'm thinking the rest of the nation is just hating this.
That might be the part you hate.
Yeah, that's
If
what I
you're
like.
gonna hate anything, you're
if
gonna
we're
hate.
self-aware, it's like, oh my gosh.
If that's the part you're gonna hate, you're gonna hate the billionaire owner raising a glass of champagne. Here's to a good season, I guess. I don't know. Like it was an awkward kind of toast as well. Was it his daughter? I think his daughter said, "Hey, we need a toast," and it was, look, I'm sure a lot of it was edited, and they're only going to show you what they want you to see. I always find it fascinating. They show the Bills in a meeting room, and you get a glimpse of what's on the big screen, the projector, right? But you only see the Bills logo in the corner. You don't see anything. They white out whatever is on that screen. Whatever messaging they're putting out, whatever is on that screen remains secret. It's internal use only.
The Sean McDermott story right at the top, I never heard. How he's describing himself as being consistent, how he had a high school coach that threw a chair through a window. It's okay, then how do you top that? Well, yeah, you don't.
I kind of think you top it by throwing another chair
It becomes a thing.
Yeah, you just become, Bobby Knight, and you're just a violent coach who's. I mean, I remember having coaches in youth hockey that would kick garbage cans. There's a character in Letterkenny, the show Letterkenny, that is like the perfect symbol of what youth coaches that I grew up with. Just guys that get so angry, start screaming, "This is embarrassing! It's embarrassing!" And then they would kick a garbage can, across the locker room, hit a kid. Like, it's just bad. It's just a bad scene by today's standards. But I kind of like that McDermott has the approach that he has, that he is consistent, and he's going to continue to be consistent. That for him to be fiery, I don't know what that looks like. We got to be better. That's the message, right? We just got to be better. If something isn't good, we got to be better. And you heard Brandon Beane say it while he was up in the booth with Terry and Brian Gain, and some good things and some things to work on. Worst places to be going into week 2 of the preseason, and you get the James Cook deal done now, which again they didn't showcase a ton of that. It was kind of an afterthought. I thought they would showcase the Cook hold in a lot more.
They made it a point like, hey, here's Cook sitting in the meeting room. So he's still being a good teammate while he's working his business out. We didn't hear from
lots of Ray Davis kicking, too. Lots of Ray Davis kicking. Knew that we were going to get that. A lot of Ray Davis kicking.
There was too much of that. That was one like, okay, I got it. Yep.
And the scooter and the KJ Hamler
scooter.
Which
KJ
is fun.
Hamler's the kind of the fun guy. But the template of, hey, let's tell the backstory and get you invested in this undrafted free agent that's making some really great plays who's going to make this team. Now you're buying in. Yeah, I want him to make the team. Now he didn't make the team. What is that? Like KJ Hamler not making the team? Is people going to be like shocked?
Frank Gore Jr., another one. Like he got a little bit of shine. They talked about Frank Gore Jr. Made him look pretty good. But they didn't really highlight any of these guys as like, oh, this is somebody that's not going to make the team. Like Andreessen's making the team. Hamler, Gore, practice squad guys probably. They even pointed out, Hamler hasn't made an active roster since, 2021? Or a 53-man roster in the last 3 seasons?
Yeah, they show his injury. Yeah, this is good.
We got to get to PJ, our buddy PJ Glasser. He is the host of Send It In on the BetMGM Network. Odyssey Sports Betting Insider and Insider Calls are presented by BetMGM. Go check out all the latest lines today on the BetMGM app. We'll get some winners from PJ, who joins us next on The Fan.
Sports Update.
James Cook gets his deal, an extension, 4 years, $48 million, 30 of that is guaranteed. The running back happy to be staying.
It just shows how much they got my back, and you know how willing to go with me in depth, and holding out. Especially, the guys that came in with me, we all got rewarded, and now it's time for us to go play football and show them why we belong here.
The Bills and Bears have a joint practice coming up on Friday. Tomorrow, travel day. Preseason game number 2 in Chicago on Sunday night, 6 p.m. for our coverage here on The Fan. We'll talk some football coming up next. Our friend PJ Glasser from Send It In on the BetMGM Network to join us. The Wings beating up on Syracuse. They're in the 8th, 14-3 currently. Milwaukee looking to make it 12 in a row. No score between Pittsburgh and Milwaukee in the 3rd. Gene Battaglia, The Fan, Rochester.
Beer is cold and the wings are hot. You're in the sports bar with Danger and Battaglia on the sports leader 95.7 FM and AM 950 The Fan, Rochester.
Welcome back into the sports bar, joined now by the host of Send It In and Odyssey Sports Betting Insider, PJ Glasser. Insider calls presented by BetMGM. Check out the latest lines today on the BetMGM app. Talk to PJ every Wednesday at this time, PJ, and I know you're starting to get into some NFL team projections on Send It In. The Broncos, if I'm not mistaken, your team today, and I want to go back and forth with you on this a little bit because I am not necessarily buying a lot of the hype on the Broncos. Just hear me out for a second, and you can tell me where you come down on it, because I'm worried that Bo Nix may be nothing more than Mac Jones. There's a possibility of it when you look at how Mac Jones came into the NFL, how Bo Nix came into the NFL, and their first seasons as starters at quarterbacks very similar. When you look at Denver from last season, they won 10 games, but against AFC playoff teams last year, they were kind of abysmal. What's your take on the Denver Broncos going into the 2025 season?
Same as you, Danger. I'm not buying all the hype that everybody else, it seems like, is talking about with Denver, at least big picture, right? I mean, people are talking about Denver being like a dark horse Super Bowl team, maybe contending to win the AFC, winning the AFC West. I'm just not buying it. I have a ton of questions about that offense like you. And with Bo Nix as a quarterback, he did some good things as a rookie. He's the kind of quarterback that Sean Payton wants, but do you really trust that guy like in January to beat Lamar? Do you trust him to beat Josh Allen? Do you think he could beat Mahomes like in the biggest games? I can't see it. Defensively, we know how good they are. Top 3 defense in football for sure. Sean Payton, terrific head coach, obviously he's won a Super Bowl. But I think that offense, I just think we're overrating them too much. And guys, a scheduling note with Denver as well. Obviously, if they're going to want to win the division, they got to go through Kansas City, right? Everybody knows that. The schedule makers did Denver no favors this year with the 2 matchups against the Chiefs. The first one in Denver, the Chiefs are coming off a bye. I think we all know how good Andy Reid is. Patrick Mahomes is off a bye. And then the second matchup, they get them on that Christmas night game on a short week in Kansas City. So, just brutal that you get the Chiefs off a bye and then you have to travel on the road on a short week. So I think there's a great chance they lose both those matchups against KC. Their win total is at 9.5, which I think is about right. Because, Danger, as you mentioned, they beat up on bad teams last year. They're going to play, a lot of bad teams again this year on their schedule. So I think they can win about 9-10 games, maybe make the playoffs again. But as for betting them to win the division, betting them to win the AFC, all that stuff, no interest for me in Denver.
Well, PJ, if we're going to be talking about Denver, let's talk about Kansas City here as well. And we're always kind of measuring the Bills to the Chiefs. And I think the Chiefs are interesting in a couple of ways, one being they're coming off this brutal Super Bowl loss, and how did they come out of the gate? But also wanted to get your thoughts here on week 1. I don't think it's too soon to start kind of talking about some of these lines. And what I'm seeing right now is the Chiefs and Chargers in that game in Brazil. Kansas City's only giving up 3. PJ, that just looks too good to be true. Am I missing something here? Granted, it's a divisional game. It should be close, but your thoughts on that matchup and the Chiefs overall here in 2025?
I think, honestly, Gene, what that is just how bad Kansas City has been against the number the last couple of years. We know they are the definition of win the game but don't cover the spread. And to us as bettors, they are not a team that we enjoy. So I really think that's what it is, because they have been so bad against the number. It's a divisional game, like you said. It's obviously neutral site. I think that's the reason the number is what it is. But, guys, that Rashawn Slater loss is so big for the Chargers. I mean, it's so big. Like, they don't have great receiving weapons. You're losing a great pass blocker. He's obviously a great run blocker as well, and that's what the Chargers want to do. So I like the Chiefs on the money line. Again, because it's -3, I think a lot of people are just going to lay the spread. But Kansas City has shown the ability plenty of times to win a couple of games by, 1 point, 2 points, whatever it may be. So I'll just take the Chiefs on the money line. It definitely is a little, no doubt, but I really just think that's because how bad they've been against the spread. So odds makers are going into this season because the last couple of years the Chiefs have done the bare minimum of winning games, not covering spreads. I have a feeling they're going to take the regular season a little bit more seriously, though, this year. Last time I was on with you guys, I told you I like Mahomes to win MVP this year. I think they are going to take the regular season more serious because they have a chip on their shoulder for the way that Super Bowl played out and how they were embarrassed and just played awful. So, full year of Hollywood, year 2 of Worthy. Rice is going to be back. Kelsey looks much better going in the offseason. We know Spags will have the defense rolling by November, December. And I think Mahomes is going to put up much better numbers in the regular seasons. I think the Chiefs are going to be better against the spread this year in the regular season, and I think it starts with the Chargers game, but I'm just playing it safe and taking a money line.
PJ Glasser is the host of Send It In on the BetMGM Network. Catch us up, PJ. Are there other NFL teams that you've done previews on and looked at that over-under that you want to share with us?
Guys, so we'll stay in that division because I really like the Las Vegas Raiders this year.
Wow.
That's Chris Berman, boys. Guys, I'm big on the Raiders. Like, I think they could be a dark horse playoff team in the AFC this year. I love what they did. For me, I don't think Pete Carroll comes out of retirement to win 5 or 6 games. I think he comes out of retirement because he thinks that the Raiders have something there. I love what they did in the offseason, bringing over Geno Smith, obviously, to be their back, drafting Genty. I think the defense will be improved. They obviously have one of the best pass rushers in Max Crosby. So I like the direction the Raiders are heading in. If you looked at Geno's track record when he was with Seattle and the numbers that he would put up when he played indoors, he was a terrific quarterback, you guys. Passer rating was fantastic, touchdown to interception ratio, threw for a bunch of yards. So now that obviously he's playing all his home games indoors, and when you play the Chargers and SoFi, that's indoors, and they'll get some road games indoors. I think Geno's going to have a nice year. We've got one of the better young tight ends in football, and Brock Bowers. So the Raiders, their win total 6.5. It's one of my favorite overs for any win total. And again, guys, I think if you're looking for maybe a surprise team, because we know there are surprise teams every year that seem to make the playoffs, I think the Raiders might be that team this year.
PJ Glass, your host of Send It In on the BetMGM Network, was listening to the network, a show that you're quite frequently on, that being BetMGM Tonight. And there was a lot of love on Monday night when they were talking about the Carolina Panthers. And PJ, you were ahead of the curve on this. I'm going to give you credit because they came around toward the end of last year. But in an NFC where, gosh, anybody could put their hand up and be a playoff team, here. And the Panthers, Bryce Young, and you are an Alabama grad. You know a little bit about Bryce Young. Is this a team in 2025 you're buying in on?
Gene, I'm so torn on Carolina. It's one of those teams that I just really don't have a strong opinion on, and I'll tell you why, guys, because I fear that Bryce's trajectory right now for his career is very similar to what Trevor Lawrence's was. Former number 1 overall picks, disaster rookie seasons, right? Trevor obviously with Urban Meyer, Bryce Young with Frank Young, rookie seasons to forget. Then year 2 for both of them starts out the same way that the rookie seasons did, doesn't look like they're going to be any good, and then both found something kind of that second half of year 2. We all thought when Trevor went on that run, they made the playoffs, that crazy comeback against the Chargers, we all thought he was going to turn the corner and he was going to turn into the Trevor Lawrence that a lot of people thought he was going to be coming out of Clemson, and obviously that just hasn't happened yet. They're hoping with Liam Cohn now and getting Travis Hunter and all that he can turn back into that guy. But that's what I fear with Bryce Young. It's the same thing where the rookie season was so bad, new head coach, starts out terrible again, but then he comes back and he has a great final 6-7 games. And now going into this year, very much like what we thought that year that year 3 would be for Trevor Lawrence. So, Gene, that's why I'm so torn, because it just gives me such vibes to what Lawrence was. I will say, Bryce, watching him, the final 6-7 games last year, how he looked in the one preseason game, kind of starting to turn into the guy that we saw at Alabama. Bryce is one of the most composed college quarterbacks I've ever seen. Like, he does not get rattled in the pocket. And I think even playing in the SEC, the speed of the NFL game, I think, was such an adjustment for him, because his entire life he's been the best player on the field. He's been so calm and cool. But obviously when you get to that level, it's just an adjustment. And I think he's starting to get used to it a little bit. I really like the rookie receiver, McMillan, out of Arizona. So Carolina, like you guys said, I was high on them last year. I'm glad they finally started to show something. But going into this year, I really don't know. If I had to make a choice and say, would you buy or sell Carolina, I would probably buy. But, again, it's just giving me vibes of what Trevor and kind of the Jags in that year 3, so I'm a little cautious on it.
So, PJ, there's a similar career arc happening right now with the Bills' opponent this weekend in the preseason, the Chicago Bears. Do you have a feeling one way or the other about what the Bears and Ben Johnson might be cooking up this season?
When it comes to the Bears, Danger, and I know that's your team, I think you take flyers. You take long shots with the Bears. So I would bet them. I wouldn't bet their win total. Like, I wouldn't bet them to just make the playoffs at like a plus 115, plus 130, whatever it is. I would bet them to win the division, because to me, I think the Bears, it's either going to be another 6-7 win year, or they have a potential to win like 11, 12 games this year. Like, I think it's either boom or bust for them. All this stuff right now with Caleb Williams, it just doesn't sound good. But, guys, this is what happens. Like, people see a few videos, the media talks about a few things, and then our perception is swayed by like a few clips, and we have no idea what the other 95% of camp looks like, and we don't know the relationship with Ben Johnson. You have to love what they did in the offseason, certainly with the offensive line. It feels like they finally have that right head coach. The defense should still be pretty good. The Luther Burden addition I really like is the wide receiver number 3. So on paper with Chicago, I think they did a lot of good things. Fellas, their schedule, though, I encourage people to go look at the Bears' road schedule this season. It's ridiculous. They're like at Philly, at Washington, at San Francisco, at Baltimore, at the Bengals, and then obviously all their division opponents on top of it too. So quite literally every team that they play on the road this year made the playoffs last season, except for San Francisco's favored to win their division this year, and then the Bengals, who obviously have Joe Burrow and that offense. So it's going to be a tough schedule that the Bears have to navigate. But I think there's a chance they can win that division. It's wide open, and if Caleb has a great sophomore year and that marriage with Ben Johnson works, I think there's a scenario where the Bears could win like 11, 12 games this year.
Talking to PJ Glasser, your host is sending it in. Send it in on the BetMGM network. PJ, last NFL question for me, and it's kind of like a news of the day story where, hey, we had this great story on Friday night. Shedeur Sanders, look at him. This could be something. And we get this today, an oblique injury. And like the oblique, it's hard to put your finger on it, right? Like this could be nothing. It could be really something. I guess we'll wait and see. But if you're just kind of backing the lens out a little bit here with all the uncertainty surrounding the quarterback and everything else in Cleveland, is there any value whatsoever in taking a look at the Browns' future here coming up in 2025?
Guys, I think the Browns are going to be the worst team in football this year. I've already bet them to have the fewest wins in the NFL at plus 450. A lot of people feel like that team is going to be the Saints, but I think the Saints are the Patriots of last season, where we went into last year and everybody thought New England was going to be the worst team in football. And they were still bad. They ended up with the number 4 pick, but I think that's what's going to happen again this year, is where the Saints are going to be bad, but they're going to be like the 3rd or 4th worst team. I think the Browns are going to be the worst, you guys. Defensively, they obviously have some guys. Myles Garrett's still one of the best players in the league. Offensively, though, oh, you guys, it's not good. It's not good at all. And our boy Joe Flacco is going to have to probably start the season for Cleveland. Look, their first 6 games, guys, it's tough. The Browns open up against the Bengals and the Ravens, and then they have to play 3 NFC North teams. There is a scenario where the Browns start the season like 1-5, 0-6. Like, that absolutely is a possibility. And if that happens, There's a chance that Stefanski could be gone, and then they make a quarterback change, and it could be another long, long season for Cleveland. So I think Shedeur at some point, Gene, is going to play this season. I don't think this injury really has much of an impact. I think regardless, Flacco is always going to be the starter. But I would not be surprised we get to week 7, week 8, somewhere in that range. I think Shedeur could take over, and obviously for the Browns' sake, they're hoping that he can turn out to be the quarterback that they've been searching for a long, long time.
PJ, let's go to the diamond. We've got a lot of streaks and trends happening right now in Major League Baseball. What are we doing to capitalize and get some wins?
So I actually like my O's tonight, fellas. Plus 115 against the Mariners. One of the best-kept secrets in baseball right now is Trevor Rogers. He's been terrific for the O's this season. He's got a .42 ERA at home this season. Now, Seattle is one of the hottest teams in baseball. They're the second hottest team behind Milwaukee, who, never loses these days. But Logan Gilbert, really good at home. He's got an ERA of about 5 on the road, so I think that Mariners win streak finally comes to an end, and the O's get him tonight at plus 115. That's the game that I probably like the best. I'd also look at the under in Philadelphia and Cincinnati. Really good pitching matchup tonight between Christopher Sanchez, who is kind of in that mix to win NL Cy Young, and then Hunter Green's coming back from injury for Cincinnati, one of the best pitchers in the NL as well. So I think that's going to be a low-scoring game tonight. I like that under, and I like the O's money line as well.
PJ, let me guess this weekend. You're taking a little golfing. Yeah, you've got the PGA Tour right in your backyard there. Set us up there for the BMW.
You guys already know. I'll be out there Saturday. Can't wait. BMW Championship. I was there 3 years ago at Caves Valley. They've made a lot of changes. Back then, it was a par 72 golf course, you guys, and the winning score was 27 under. So it was a little too easy. So this time around, had to make some changes. They cut it to a par 70. They've increased the rough. They've made it a little bit tougher, and then they've narrowed the fairways as well. So, I mean, these guys will probably still – the winning score will probably still be in about the low 20s or the high teens. I wouldn't expect to see the winning score, though, be near 30 under again. But I like Rory this week, you guys. You know, he took the week off last week in Memphis to kind of reset for these last 2 FedEx Cup playoff events. They got the Ryder Cup coming up in about 5 weeks. And this is really a course that fits Rory well. You know, Bryson lost in a playoff to Cantlay last year, and obviously Bryson mashes the ball off the tee. Rory finished tied 4th, so this is a long course, and this is a course where you want guys who are really good off the tee that can drive it a long way and can keep it in the fairway because, again, this rough is going to be tough. So I'd look at Rory plus 750. Cantlay won here 3 years ago. I think he's going to be right in the mix again. I would look at him at 20-1. And then Victor Hovland, 35-1, and Chris Gotterup at 40-1. A couple other guys that I would look at. Hovland, terrific ball striker. Gotterup finished top 10 here 3 years ago, playing very good golf here as of late. Think he's going to be in the mix. But if you said, PJ, free bet, who would you take? Rory would be my guy this week.
Fantastic information as always, PJ. Let everybody know about Send It In. We know how much work you put into the show.
Yeah, guys, send it in. You can catch 1 to 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time every Monday through Friday. I'm actually going to be off the next 2 days, just a little vacation before we get ready to go for football. But you can check the show out on the BetMGM network, which you can find on Twitch and on YouTube as well. Just search at the BetMGM network. And, fellas, I have to say, too, I didn't realize we have a common employee, our guy Max Sheedy, who works with me on the Sunday show.
Oh, we love Max. Yeah, Max did a great job with us doing some video production behind the scenes while we were at training camp the last few weeks.
Max is the man, so shout out to him. Yeah, he helps out on our network and on our Sunday show as well. So I think I saw when you guys posted a picture of Max in the photo, and I'm like, how about that? Max hears me do the Baltimore accent every Wednesday. So we were talking about that.
Like, Max, okay, you got to get out of it. You're coming to camp here, Max. Like, let's get you here on time. PJ, we got to get you up here. Are you dropping your brother off? Is he still going to Ithaca?
He does. I know. He's going out there. Yeah, he's going out there next week. I know. I'd like to get out there for Ravens-Bills week 1. I really would. I really would. I'll come out and see you guys with the new stadium when they because obviously I'm watching Hard Knocks. I'm seeing the photos. I mean, that place looks ridiculous.
This is PJ. So. Like, I need the heated seats. I need the new amenities.
That's
I'm
right.
not hardcore like you guys and like all your fans. When I heard Terry Pagula talking about they were going to block out the winds, I'm like, you're talking my language now. That's what I need to hear.
If you squinted and looked closely enough yesterday during Hard Knocks, Pete Gwelly is actually PJ Glasser. PJ Glasser was at the celebration of wealth, raising a glass instead of Pete. It wasn't Pete Gwelly. I was squinting, and it was you, PJ.
It was PJ.
You were just rolling with the billionaires, dude. Thank you so much for the time, as always. Let's catch up again next week.
Always a pleasure, fellas. We'll talk again next Wednesday.
There he is, PJ Glasser. Hear him on Send It In. Watch him on Send It In on the BetMGM network. You can find it on YouTube, Twitch. You can hear it in the free-to-download Odyssey app as well. Love getting the information we get from PJ every week at this time.
Yeah, he count him right in your corner there, saying Denver little bit ahead of ourselves there when it comes to let's crown them.
I mean, congratulations on beating up on bad teams. That's a step in the right direction if you're the Denver Broncos. But you're not there. You have to start beating playoff teams from your conference. And I think the only one that they got over on was Kansas City once, right? They split with Kansas City. But the Chargers took them both times they played last year. The Ravens took them. Even the Bengals, who were not a playoff team last year, beat them in Week 17. So they still have a way to go. I think you have reason to be encouraged, but I need to see it.
When the Bills finally broke the drought, it just felt great to be there.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lousy game. They play, and then they took a half step back because you had Josh Allen. It's not apples to apples, I understand, but I can see with Denver and the defense, but to expect Bo Nix from year 1 to year 2 all of a sudden to be playing in big boy football with Burrow, Mahomes, and Josh Allen, Denver's a team danger. I expect them to be exactly where they were last year, farting around, and they're the 6 or 7 ultimately.
Right. Good teams should be able to beat Denver.
And Denver's defense will allow them to win their share of games.
Yeah, that seems fair. 9 wins, 10 wins, sounds about right. But they're beating the Chiefs in the division. I need to see that. I'm not buying into that just yet.
The oblique injury. Now, if you're a Met fan, you know that Jesse Winker, the Buffalo native, it was back in early May, oblique. Now he's done for the year. Like, wait a second, how does that happen? There's like different degrees of like an oblique strain or oblique injury. So the story out of Cleveland today is Shador did this and he didn't practice. So do tell me more.
For the life of me, after that performance, I don't know why they don't just make him number 1 on the depth chart. Just go ahead and make him your start. Name him your starter week 1. What are you afraid of, cowards? What are you afraid of? Well, this may be what they're afraid of.
Well, ultimately, is that in his best interest? Like, you're not winning anything with Joe Flacco. You're just not. He's just kind of like, so do they trust Shador over 17 games?
Trust. That's
they don't.
That's the magical word every coach wants to hear and believe, that they have trust with the guys that they're throwing out there. And I imagine Kevin Stefanski doesn't yet trust Shador, or will never trust Shador. We'll have to see how it unfolds through the course of the season. I know you want to break down a Week 1 game next on The Fan.
I think so, and I think this is sort of trap-ish when I say that when you look at a home underdog, ooh, this looks really good. Yes, I'm going to take this team in the points as we look at Week 1 games here. And I don't know if this is good or bad for the Bills when we discuss this. It's an AFC matchup.
All right, we'll get to that. We have Josh Reed, WIVB, in Buffalo, joining us in the 4 o'clock hour. James Cook has his extension. We'll discuss that as well. Our coverage of Buffalo Bills training camp at St. John Fisher University and throughout the preseason is brought to you by Ace Swim and Leisure. Get the most out of summer. Ace has beautiful outdoor furniture, fire pits, parts, accessories, chemicals, everything you need for your pool. Chilai Avenue and Ridge Road, Webster, aceswim.com.
You're listening to the 9BF Rochester, the sports leader. 95.7 FM and AM 950. The Fan, Rochester. An Odyssey sports station. The Fan, Rochester. Sports update.
Brandon Bean says he got the deal done at 11 o'clock last night. James Cook getting his extension, 4 years, $48 million. 30 of it is guaranteed. Cook on what's next?
I mean, just continue to keep doing me, being me, and yeah, hopefully bring a Super Bowl here. That's what I'm trying to do, and just keep elevating my game.
Bills and Bears have a joint practice coming up on Friday. The preseason game number 2 is in Chicago on Sunday, 6 o'clock for our coverage here on The Fan. Wings win big over Syracuse today, 14-3 the final. Milwaukee looking to make it 12 in a row. The Brewers are up 6-5 on Pittsburgh. They're in the 5th. The Yankees finishing up a series tonight at home against the Twins. Gene Battaglia, the sports leader, 95.7 FM and AM 950, The Fan, Rochester.
It's time to start the show and talk about the sports we saw. Inside jokes and takes from Danger and Battaglia. Bills and the Sabres and the Amherst. Who gave a microphone to these jerks? Welcome to the sports bar, that's where you are. Welcome to the sports bar, that's where you are. Welcome to the sports bar, that's where you are. With Danger and Battaglia.
The Bills have extended James Cook. We'll break down the numbers, talk about what's next, and we'll be joined by Josh Reed covering the Buffalo Bills. For WIVB TV in Buffalo, he joins us in about 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, can we say the Bills are officially boring? Like, in terms of storylines? Like, okay, maybe we'll have something coming out of the Bears.
They sure presented as boring last night on Hard Knocks, Gino.
My father texted me right after a cream puff. Like, that's how, it very fluff.
NFL propaganda.
I'm just kind of aware that probably the rest of the nation's tuning out to this. If you don't like the Bills, then, you're not sticking with it.
It was a reminder. Last night was a reminder. I liked episode 1. I love how they portrayed the team in episode 1. Honestly, I would have been just fine if the series ended after one episode, because last night was a reminder of why I don't typically watch Hard Knocks anymore.
What are we really getting?
Cool music. Really well narrated. Lev Schreiber does a great job. But aside from that,
I didn't realize until Maggie said this morning, I don't watch White Lotus. Did you watch that show? No, apparently that's the music from when they were showing just the ice bath. It was this cinema, okay, we're just showing ice. Not any player getting the ice.
That's right.
Just the ice. But not knowing that show, though, apparently when, because shows have different sort of music you play throughout, whenever that music plays, something bad will happen.
Right.
Why are we doing that?
If you're a fan of the Bills, I feel like you're obligated. You have to watch it. This is catnip. You have some storylines that are fun. KJ Hamler's a character. The scooter debacle from episode 1 carried over into episode 2, and that was fun and amusing. But it's really, again, for me, it was not. Last night was a reminder of why I don't typically watch Hard Knocks, because it isn't any different than any of the seasons past. It's very sterile. There's not a ton of substance. We're not learning anything new, and it's just a neat production, musically, narrated, the way it's shot. I mean, the ice bath, it was like, oh, that's kind of cool. The way they're shooting the ice, that was fun. But
I thought maybe we would see, all right, we talked to Connor McGovern about it. Let's see these guys get in an ice bath, and what does it look like? Are they cold when they actually go in? And we didn't even see that.
Yeah. So it hasn't. Hard Knocks is still kind of formulaic. It still kind of follows the same template that we've seen in years past. But you can't help yourself. If you're a Bills fan, you're going to watch that, and you're going to love it.
Yeah, and look, part of me felt sad too. It's like, oh yeah, like when they're leaving Rochester and they have the overhead shot of Fisher. That's it. No more Fisher.
Yeah. Well, not until next summer at least.
By the way, if you missed any of it, our guy Max, and you heard him get a shout out there from PJ, put together this great compilation of just the guests we had on set there and talking about some of the storylines. And if you follow us on social media, The Fan Rochester, whether it's Facebook, Insta, it's on X, anywhere else, YouTube, it's on.
Yeah, it's on our YouTube channel.
I mean, it's a great piece there.
Yeah. Like and subscribe while you're on our YouTube channel. We stream live every afternoon from 3 until 6. Good place to go back and watch any part of the show that you may have missed. If you missed any of our guest appearances, you can also find that wherever you get your pods, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Search out The Sports Bar, and you'll get our work there. We're kind of dissecting week one game by game, day by day here in The Sports Bar. This is an annual tradition. I know Gene gets up for it. We're kind of keeping we're holding ourselves accountable here. We want to see how we do week one.
I mean, if you want to talk about Bills-Bears line, I'm not really interested in that. Let's get to the meat here, week one. And today's matchup, Danger, I present to you Steelers at the Jets. Oh, my goodness. Here's the NFL being kitschy again.
Yeah.
Let's send Aaron Rodgers back to this fan base. Pittsburgh is minus the 3. Here's the fun fact, and I don't think this is going to change whatsoever. This game amongst week one games has the lowest over-under set at 38.5. That's like really, really low. It's not all-time low, but still. For week one, yeah, noteworthy. Let's start there. Who wins ugly football games? Look, I think the square play, Danger, is this. And let me do my best New Yorker. I'm going to do an impression of my friend Big Daddy from New York, right?
You have a friend named Big Daddy?
Big Daddy, yeah.
Hold on a second. This is news. Wait, I know you're going to do your impression, but this is breaking news. Hey, everybody, welcome to Blondies. It's time for another fantasy baseball draft in the Champagne Room. They will see Uncle Gino with Big Daddy, his guest.
Big Daddy works for the FBI, so I don't want to push this button. But,
I'm sorry.
It's like,
Big Daddy. We won't wait you. Big Daddy won't make you wait 7 hours in your car while you're at Tootsie's.
It's a good idea to have a friend like Big Daddy. But
Yeah.
Big Daddy, he's not an agent or anything. He's just, doing other stuff. But I digress. What, Aaron Rodgers is going to show up and all of a sudden he's going to start playing football after we watched that for 2 years? We're getting 3 points here on top of this? Oh, my gosh, the Jets, week one? Oh, we're going to be up for this. I'm taking the Jets on this. Yeah, that's a square play. I think Mike Tomlin will know exactly what to do, conversely, against Justin Fields. Take the Steelers minus the 3.
All right, so Big Daddy works for the FBI.
And a Jet fan.
And of course he's a Jet fan. Because he's Italian.
How did you know he was Italian?
He just kind of had the Tommy DeVito vibe going there.
Lavella is his name, so yeah.
Yeah, his last name ends in a vowel, of course.
Yeah.
Of course he's going with the Jets. I'm with you on this. What do the Steelers do? The Steelers historically, notoriously, play up or down to the level of their competition. I don't know. I think the Jets will surprise a few teams on their schedule this year, but I don't think the Steelers are going to be one of the teams that are going to be caught off guard by what Justin Fields can do offensively. I think Tomlin will have him figured out. I just think when you look at the rosters, each roster, there's more talent on both sides of the ball for the Steelers than there is for the Jets.
I think the Jets, here's your expectation as a Jet fan. You're not going to be embarrassed by your own team this year. Can we start there? My gosh, how many years, going back to Rex Ryan and how many other
No, last year was embarrassing.
I was totally.
And you could say, it's all Aaron Rodgers' fault. No, it's not. No, it's not.
No,
the buck stops with the ownership.
I was going to say, yeah.
How did the Aaron Rodgers saga end in New York? It ended badly. It ended with Rodgers flying himself to New York to be told, "We're not signing you. Get out of here." An 8-minute meeting. So that's where the buck stops. Somebody had to come in, an adult had to come into the room, and Aaron Glenn, and say, "Enough is enough. You're out. We're moving in a different direction. Bye-bye."
866-4FAN, 866-4326. You're always welcome to call us. Brad in Rochester, what's up, Brad?
I'm just wondering for this game, the Steelers and Jets, what's the over-under on field goals? Are we going to have a record of 6 on one side, 5 on the other? Because I don't think either offense is going to be stellar, and the defenses here are solid.
Yeah, Tomlin notoriously doesn't like kicking field goals. I feel like he doesn't like his kicker. He always tries to push. It is the lowest. You mentioned it, Gino, the lowest over-under on the board for week one. If I had to put a number on it, I would go ahead and say Pittsburgh 20, Jets 16, something like that.
Didn't the Steelers open up against the Falcons, or it was an early season game, and that was really low? When they put that low, it should be lower. I think Brad's right. Like, yeah, 21 to 13 feels
12 to 9.
Yeah,
all field goal, just a giant field goal fest.
You're thinking back. There was a Week 3 game last year that had to watch because the Bills weren't on. It was the Jets and Broncos. Oh my gosh, that was horrible. Horrible game to watch.
Yeah.
Field goals. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. That's right. And that was the game that we all thought was going to be like this amazing rivalry because of everything Sean Payton said about Nathaniel Hackett.
Yeah, nothing.
It was a zero, an absolute non-event. The game did not live up to the hype. And maybe this is another situation where the game doesn't live up to the hype. Yes, you've got narrative with the swapping of quarterbacks, but I'm not a big believer in what Rodgers can do this year, and I've seen with my own eyes with Justin Fields, he can be eye-popping at times. I just don't know that he knows how to command an NFL offense. Haven't seen it yet, at least.
Do we think differently of Jerry Jones after today he disclosed he's beaten back stage 4 melanoma?
I think he just got upset that Sean McDermott got a whole segment in Hard Knocks and said, you know what? His skincare routine is nice, but let me tell you about my cancer, all right? My cancer is just way more explosive than that guy's. And Hard Knocks should do an entire segment on my routine, my skincare routine, because it takes a lot of work to look as good as I look after beating down what I beat down.
You're talking cancer thirst? Is that what
cancer thirst?
Cancer thirst.
Absolute cancer thirst on behalf of Jerry Jones. He saw McDermott's skin routine and sunblock routine and said, yeah, you think that's something? Let me tell you about my stage 4 melanoma. What do you know about that? And I'm an old guy. Yeah, he had to one-up Sean McDermott. Can't have Sean McDermott taking all the cancer thirst away from him.
According to the Mayo Clinic, stage 4 melanoma is got only a 50% chance of survival. But then again, if you're an NFL billionaire, I digress. I didn't even.
He probably mentioned that. I was probably 50% chance of me dying from this melanoma, but here I am, still negotiating, still fighting for headlines. And now we know, like, the Cowboys are crazy and dysfunctional on purpose. He basically admits that, no, we want people talking about this team. I want people, I want us to be in the news cycle. I want everything that they get. I want to command that. He's admitted it. So that's your lot in life if you're a Cowboys fan.
Well, another clue that Hard Knocks isn't special anymore. This is coming from the Netflix series about the Cowboys. Hey, if you're a Cowboy fan, you're probably aware, probably most of us weren't, we have the Chiefs Kingdom on something. Like, every team is going to have something like this on a regular basis.
Content.
That's it.
Content. Content is king. Content. More content. We've got content on this. Content you didn't know you needed. There's too much, Gene. That's why I have the list. There's just too much.
Too much.
There's too much.
Except for the sports bar.
Oh, I mean, that's why I say when you choose us, we don't take it for granted. We know how many options you have for your sports information and entertainment. There's just too much content out there. So if you choose us, we're humbled. We don't take that for granted.
I got a couple messages last night saying that they were sorry that we didn't make the cut. I'm like, no, don't worry. Like, it doesn't matter to me.
It was a zero to me. If it would have happened, I'd be like, oh, cool, that was fun. But because it didn't happen, totally fine.
My nephew actually thought that he would go on. Of course, they did do the fan segment. I'm like, no, you're not beating out the woman who's talking about her breast milk or whatever it was. Like, it's like,
yeah,
okay.
The woman that's at the bar, with a cold one in her hand. You're like, one time we got so lit up, my fiance drank my sister's breast milk. Yeah, I don't know. Just a perfect portrayal of Buffalo femininity. Exactly the picture we wanted to paint. And another thing, let me tell you about my brother who drank all the breast milk from my sister.
Of course, they got to
Excuse me, ma'am?
Yeah, go back to the 1990 shots of all the Goombas and
oh yeah,
a lot of mustaches.
Lots of mustaches.
Lots of Zubas. Yeah.
Lots of chest hair. Yeah. Lots of gold horns and chains. Absolutely. The perfect portrayal of life in Western New York. People jumping through tables. There it is. Okay, yep, that's the picture we want to paint. And another thing, let me tell you about my sister. They got so lit up, they drank her breast milk. That's good. Thanks for sharing. We're so proud. We're so proud. James Cook doesn't want to be anywhere else.
No.
The deal got done. I was surprised, but excited about this for Bills fans because you can make the case that he is easily the second best offensive player on this team behind Josh Allen.
If you want to make the case for somebody else, tell me, because I don't think you really can. Cook is
He's a playmaker.
Yeah, he's a playmaker, and when you're going to get to the biggest games, see the AFC Championship game, Cook, should have been like the game MVP. All right, in my opinion on that. What I think this does afford, though, you don't mess with the formula. This doesn't mean that all of a sudden he's going to get north of 50% of this. Maybe he does, but what I'm saying, though, is you still can take him off the field on third downs and put in Ty Johnson. You can still use a second-year running back in Ray Davis, who we all think is going to be better than that. You don't have to burn out. If this didn't get done, like the running back room politics of give me more carries, well, that's kind of a moot point now.
It is. And it's an advantage for the Bills. When you think about the continuity, the guys that have been now in the system for multiple years, they know where they need to be. They know their assignment. They know their role on the offense and on the defense. There are so many teams in the NFL that are just not going to be able to keep up. They can't keep up. They're already behind at this stage of the preseason. They're already behind. And the Bears are one of those teams, by the way. The Bills' opponent this weekend is one of those teams that's just trying to learn everything right now. Whereas the Bills, day one, knew exactly what they needed. And having Cook in the mix without any distraction, look, I don't need to see Cook on third down. I know that you're paying him as if he's going to be an every down back, and there's certainly some incentive for him to be on the field for more than 45% of the offensive snaps, and the 45% feels like a number he can achieve. He was 48% last year. But I want to see Ty Johnson on third down, and here's why. Ty Johnson is a better third down back than James Cook. He gives you a better chance of success on that play.
Now, I do disagree with how they handled the end of the Kansas City game, as you know, Danger, because it's not a 2-minute offense. You had 3 minutes. You had you could have run James Cook. You didn't use James Cook on that last drive. That drove me nuts.
Yeah.
But to your point, though, third down backs in this league, the Bills are lucky to have Ty Johnson. They really are.
And they signed him for 2 years for a reason. They like the player, and I think they wanted to make sure that if Cook left, they at least had Davis and Cook. One of the best things that come out of this signing is when we get to next April, we won't be talking about the Bills' need for a running back in the first or second round.
Oh, that's very good point there.
Yeah. The idea that if you lose Cook in free agency, you're just going to go back into the draft and be, well, we can just get another James Cook in the draft, right? Nah. Let's stock up on other things. Let's get the defense right. Let's find another weapon for Josh Allen.
You could go corner, you could go safety.
Yeah.
You broke the 26th draft seal. I can't believe you. No, but it's a good point, though, because you would have had to, hey, you want to replace James Cook, good luck finding that in their 6th or 7th round. You really have to be on top of everything.
Yeah, right. So you make the investment here. And when we heard Brandon Beane speak earlier today, it was a heavy dose of this is what we do. We draft, we develop, and we pay our guys. And it's a big reason why I think the Bills are successful, to go back to my point about continuity, that there are a lot of teams with moving parts and different pieces and different coaches, and the Bills don't have any of that going into this year. They're starting the season in an advantageous position because of all of the parts being back.
What do they do with Cook this week? My prediction is you get him out. He practiced today. He practiced yesterday. You have him practice against the Bears. I don't think you play him against the Bears.
Yeah, we learned today from Ben Johnson that the Bears are going to play their starters, including Caleb Williams, against the Bills on Sunday night. How long they all play is to be determined, but the Bears starters will be out there for at least a series or two.
For your mental health, I want to make you this offer. Okay, because it is your job
I'm
to
good,
watch.
dude.
If you don't want to watch the game Sunday night, I got you covered. It's your job to watch
I'm
the
good.
Buffalo Bills, but
No,
it's not.
I'm good.
You're gonna.
Dude, I'm good. I am good. I am good.
Okay.
All right? It's
Okay.
the preseason. I'm not. What do we always say after? Don't overreact. Can't overreact. Don't overreact. It's the preseason. Mistakes happen. It's the preseason. I'm not overreacting. We're the games that matter, then we'll start to see something. And here's what a lot of people
Dan DeLorean, get this cut and we can run it back on
all
Monday.
of the people who are making the Caleb Williams, Ben Johnson thing a story. Like, Caleb Williams wasn't bad last year. He was pretty good. He got sacked a ton. But for a guy with no support as far as coaching or development around him, he still put up pretty good numbers. He wasn't bad as a rookie. I don't think he's going to be bad in his second year. I think he's going to be okay. I'm not going to overreact to anything in the preseason. So if he goes out and he throws a pick, let's say, okay, it's the preseason. Get it out of your system now. And here's what I can tell you. And I can tell you this because we see it and I hear it. Ben Johnson is working with him a lot. And they have to work. They have to have a relationship. He and his head coach and his offensive play caller have to be on the same page. You have that in Buffalo, clearly, right? Brady and Allen, they communicate. Dable and Allen, they communicate. You need that.
The offer stands.
I'm good. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to be drinking on Sunday night during the game, but I'm good.
We have our buddy Josh Reed, WIVB.
Yeah.
Who got some FaceTime last night.
He really did.
Yeah.
He is the true Bills media member who can walk away with the crown after episode 2 of Hard Knocks. He got some forward-facing camera time there with Terry Pagula and Sean McDermott. So we'll get to Josh Reed, WIVB. He joins us next. Was it McDermott? No, I'm sorry, Hamlin. It was Hamlin.
Yeah.
And yeah. But Josh Reed next on the Fan Rochester.
$48 million, $30 million guaranteed. Cook happy to be staying.
It just shows how much they got my back, and you know how willing to go with me in depth, and holding out. Especially, the guys that came in with me, we all got rewarded, and now it's time for us to go play football and show them why we belong here.
Today, a travel day. Bills and Bears have a joint practice on Friday. Preseason game number 2 in Chicago on Sunday, 6 o'clock for our coverage here on the Fan Rochester. The Wings win big today over Syracuse by a 14-3 score. Milwaukee looking to make it 12 in a row. The Brewers are up 8-5 on Pittsburgh as they're in the 7th. The Yankees looking to make it a couple of games straight over the Twins tonight. Gene Battaglia, the sports leader, the Fan Rochester.
They've raised the bar on Rochester Sports Talk. You're in the Sports Bar with Danger and Battaglia on the Sports Leader, 95.7 FM and AM 950 The Fan, Rochester.
Goals for Chicago is just continue to develop on the things that we made mistakes last week, and then never taking a step backwards. Once we've corrected it once, never have to correct it again.
There's Michael Hoyt earlier today on One Bills Live. Bills joint practice against the Bears coming up on Friday, the preseason Week 2 game happening Sunday night. And oh, by the way, James Cook getting his extension. We welcome in Josh Reed, WIVB-TV in Buffalo, one of our favorites, to talk about the Buffalo Bills. And let's start with Cook. You wouldn't really know that he got his extension today. Seems like James Cook is even keel as ever, getting his extension, and he's going to do his talking with his play, I suppose, Josh.
Yeah, Brandon Beane spoke to the media before practice today, and he was asked what James' reaction was to the contract extension, and Brandon jokingly said, he's not exactly a man of many words. So as you can imagine, though, he's he is excited, and you said it right. As an ant got on my son, and you would have thought that he was being tortured over here at the playground. But yeah, so. Brandon said, he's obviously not a man of many words, but yeah, they get the deal done. From the outside kind of big picture and what we were hearing from national reports is this is about $12 million a year, 4 years that'll keep him in Buffalo through 2029. It's a $30 million guaranteed of the reports. It's a little more than I thought he would get, maybe more than I thought the Bills would, be willing to part with. But at the end of the day, they get the deal done.
Yeah, Josh, it's the first time we've seen Brandon Beane give a second contract to a running back. How big a factor do you think it was that, hey, this is a team that has championship expectations. Let's not rock the boat here at all.
Yeah, I think that's a huge part of it. And let's face it, when you look at the playmakers that this team has on offense, you go 17 and then probably 4, right? I mean, James Cook is a playmaker. Look, I understand some of the concerns from Bills fans with the idea that, his snap percentage isn't exactly, not even above 50%. So I understand the usage isn't quite there, maybe what you'd want it to be, but he is still a huge threat and piece of this offense. And look, at the end of games, he is a guy that you want on the field and you want with the ball in his hands.
I'll say this about the usage, Josh. I don't think they need to use him more, especially if on third down you have somebody who's as good at it as Ty Johnson is.
Well, and Josh Allen has said it multiple times. He believes Ty Johnson is the best, if not one of the best, third down backs in the NFL. So, once you've been stamped by 17, that goes a long ways. I'm pretty sure if he's very comfortable having him on the field on third downs. Joe Brady knows that. Josh, I'm sure, has made no secret to that. But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if the third down role for James Cook expands a little bit. Will they put a little more on his plate? Because Brandon was asked about that in his pre-practice press conference and said, look, we think he can be a third down back. So will we see some of the workload on third down swing a little more toward James Cook? We'll see. I don't think it's a pass catching thing when it comes to Cook on third down. I think it's a pass protection thing. I think it's, hey, can he step up and pick up that blitzer and make sure Josh Allen can stay clean? I think that is the bigger concern because I think he proved last year. I think we saw a little bit better version of him in the pass game. So I just think it's a matter of being better at pass protection.
We're talking to Josh Reed, WIVB, as tomorrow, the travel day, Friday, joint practice, Bills and Bears. Josh, we heard today from the Bears that they're going to play Caleb Williams in the starters here. Any indication what we're going to see from the Buffalo side coming up on Sunday?
Well, we all know the answer to that. Sean likes to keep that stuff tucked away in his back pocket till the last second, for whatever reason. But yeah, I think it just comes down to what Josh is comfortable doing and not doing. I think if Josh says to Joe Brady and Sean, look, I want to get in there, I want to get some reps before, the real thing starts going, then he'll be out there. And I think if he's like, look, I feel like I'm right where I need to be as we continue to ramp up for the regular season in week 1 against the Ravens, I'm good. I can sit this one out, because he's gonna get some work in the joint practice. So, I think it's just they'll go with however Josh feels. But no word yet on what the Bills are going to do with Josh Allen or the starters.
Josh, from practice today, some good news and some bad news. The good news, you get the safeties back. You get Taylor Rapp and Cole Bishop back. Curious as to how they looked. And then also Deion Dawkins missing today's practice. The bad news there. Any indication on Dawkins' injury and what that might mean here for the rest of the preseason?
Yeah, the Dawkins injury was interesting because he left practice yesterday with trainers. But then we saw him after practice kind of walking around the field house. Looked fine. Today, nowhere to be seen. Not sure exactly what happened there. He seemed to be in good spirits as well after practice yesterday. Also, no Cam Lewis. He was not around at practice. We didn't see him. Unsure exactly what the reason was for that. The wide receiver group is super banged up right now. We all know Shakir's out, but Elijah Moore's banged up right now. Joshua Palmer had this massive, wrap on his leg. Meanwhile, he had a really impressive practice. But, they're pretty beat up. Tyrell Shavers missed practice today. So they're dealing with some bumps and bruises. But you mentioned the safety duo back in the lineup, Taylor Rapp, Cole Bishop. They've been dinged up all preseason, so it's good to see them back out there because Sean's talked about it a lot. He needs those two to be lockstep, two playing as one when the season starts, and they need to get some reps together.
Is it just as simple as being healthy for Cole Bishop at this point? Meaning, hey, if he's out there and he's practicing, this is his job to lose, Josh?
I do believe it's his job to lose, but I don't know what Cole Bishop is. I'm really not sure. I'm not sure what, because he's been hurt. We don't know the healthy version of Cole Bishop and what that even looks like. He's just been so beat up, his entire career, as short as that's been. But, I think if he's healthy and ready to go, it's going to be him and Taylor Rapp at the safety spot because before he got injured, he was exclusively taking the first-team reps with a Rapp.
Alec Anderson back on the field doing some individual and positional work. That was a knee injury, getting his knee scoped here. So some more positive news from today's practice as well.
Yeah, anytime you can take any positive news this preseason with the injury list, you take it because there's been a lot of it, quite frankly. But yeah, so hopefully, I still think I'd be shocked to see him play Sunday. In the preseason game and maybe even the third preseason game. But yeah, the knee scope was listed as week to week, and that's about where we are. If he just continues to kind of ramp it up and get ready for week 1 against the Ravens, I think they'd be happy, if that's kind of the timeline that falls into place.
Josh Reed, WIVB, is our guest. Back to those wide receivers that are banged up, and the Curtis Samuel question, and gosh, if his contract wasn't so big, Josh, I don't know if he's on this team. Do the Bills find a way to move that contract, or is it just too difficult and you expect him to be on the 53?
Yeah, I think he's going to be on the 53 because of the contract. The question becomes, would they keep a sixth receiver? Because Tyrell Shavers has done anything and everything you could possibly want him to do to earn a roster spot. And, I mean, he has been really good. That first preseason game had a couple of catches for, I believe it was 70 yards, a big 58-yarder that sets up the field goal. I mean, in practice, every day he's been making plays. But the Curtis Samuel, on the 53, it's going to be hard to keep him off to 53 because of the money he's going to make.
Josh, do we get any sense that one player is pulled ahead of another in the kick returning competition between Codrington, KJ Hamler, and Laviska Shenault?
Yeah, I think it's Codrington's job to lose still. I just think that, we hear Brandon Bean talk about it a lot, that, he wants to bring in competition across the board at every position. And I think that's what Laviska Shenault was. I think that was kind of hey, you're going to need to show us you can do it. KJ's been there. I just think it's Codrington's job to lose. I will say this. Laviska made some plays in that preseason opener where you kind of went, well, okay, I mean, if he can contribute on special teams and he can help you out maybe a little bit in the pass game, we'll see. But we've already talked about the log jam at receiver, right? So I think it's Codrington's job.
Josh Reed, WIVB, giving us a few minutes here. Bills and Bears coming up Sunday night. And another competition question here, Josh, because I think it's fair to say, hey, you really can't call it. Certainly, I thought both guys were okay, Trubisky and White, in that loss to the Giants. So if we get to cut down time and we still don't have a guy pulling ahead, do the Bills lean on the side of the experience of Trubisky, or do they lean on the side of, hey, the contract for White is a little more affordable here?
Yeah, after coming out of that week one, the preseason first game there, if you liked Mike White going into that game, you were pretty happy with what you saw. If you liked Mitch Trubisky going into that game, coming out of it, you were pretty happy with what you saw. I thought both of them showed some promise there, leading, the offense for the Bills. I think at the end of the day, this is going to be Mitch's job to lose. Mike White is going to have to absolutely outplay him. Other than that, I just think they're going to look at Mitch and go, look, this is a guy that if something short-term happens that keeps Josh out of the lineup, Mitch is a guy that can, if it's a 3-game stretch, they'll believe that Mitch can win 2 out of 3, keep him afloat until Josh gets back. So, yeah, I do. I think it's Mitch's job.
Do you think we'll see Mitch and Mike White split the reps like we did in week 1 of the preseason with Josh Allen on the bench, knowing that this is a big Mitch Trubisky revenge game in Chicago?
It is a revenge game for Mitch Trubisky, as funny as that is, because, I mean, preseason, what absolutely is on the line there. I mean, I know those two guys are fighting for a job. I would think it's going to look similar to what it did week 1. You know what I wish I would have seen, though? Bouchel comes in there late in the game to run the 2-minute offense. Man, I really wish Mike White would have got a chance to show what he could do, with kind of the game on the line there. Instead, we got Shane Bouchel. But, I would expect the reps to look pretty similar in Chicago like they did in the Giants opener.
Josh, congratulations to you. You won the award on Hard Knocks, local media member with the most FaceTime last night. Josh, all seriousness, Hard Knocks kind of fluffy here. I mean, there's like not much you can kind of criticize the Bills after watching episode 2 here.
Yeah, they're putting me on. That they're looking for stuff to run. But in all seriousness, I'm with you. We talked to a couple of media members and myself. We were talking a little bit about, what have we learned anything behind the scenes, behind the curtain on the Bills that we didn't already know? And, we were all agreed that no, not at all. But I will say this. I didn't get a chance to talk to one of my buddies this afternoon who's in Cleveland. And he's an NFL fan, but he's not necessarily a fan of the Bills. And he has liked it because he doesn't know the Joe Andreessen story. We've talked about it because we're so close to it. We've seen all these storylines before, but you got to keep in mind, this is a national audience now. They don't know Joe Andreessen. Like they don't know that story. And he was like, yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. A lot of these things, now they know the DeMar Hamlin stuff because everybody knows that story by now. But I do. I think that there are some aspects of it that we take for granted because we've talked about it a ton over the last year and a half, 2 years, that the national audience doesn't know about.
Yeah, I mean, you could very easily just call this NFL propaganda, and it's almost like they should label it, Buffalo, not training camp with the Buffalo Bills. We dare you to hate the Buffalo Bills is what they should call it.
Well, yeah, I mean, they definitely are rolling out all the good guy looks. And, hey, I mean, good luck finding the bad guy on this team, the quote-unquote villain, right? There's just not one. This team is made up of really good players who, in general, are really good people.
WIVB, Josh Reed, our guest. I got to rewire my brain here. It's Bills kickoff live.
It is.
Are you on
Bills
Sunday here, Josh?
Live. Yeah, we're gonna be going right up to kickoff again. So it's a half-hour show. Sorry, no, we're gonna be off the field an hour before. And with the translation of the times, so it's an 8 o'clock kickoff here because we keep going. Okay, that's 7 o'clock in Chicago.
Yeah.
So our show will be 6:30 to 7 o'clock on WIVB. And by the way, I know every station now has listeners across the country because there's apps for everything. If you're a Bills fan now and you want to watch the show no matter where you live, if you have a smart TV, we have a free app, WIVB Plus, and it's just like Netflix. You can download it, only it's free. You can download it and you can watch our show right there.
Perfect. Josh, get back to daddy duty, man. Appreciate you carving out some time for us.
They all have mouthfuls of mulch at this point. So I'm playing goalie. I'm playing goalie, trying to keep them out of the puddles that were formed this afternoon, and they're eating mulch and jumping off of. I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. So, all right, hey, thanks for having me again, guys. I appreciate it. It's always good talking to you.
All right, thanks, Josh.
Been there. Know the feeling well.
It was the park we would go to, wood chips. The little, not the mulch. It was the wood chips.
Oh, yeah. I did wood chips in my backyard when I built the swing set for the girls when they were little. I'm saying I'm not going to make it safe, nice and cushioned. I got the wood chips that they give you from the town, like just dump it and there you go. Here's your soft landing if you fall off the swings or fall off the slide. So yeah, who hasn't been there? Like, oh, my kid's eating sand. That's nice.
Yeah, it was one of those. I think we could have kept him a little bit longer, and you're
yeah, he's busy.
You're busy.
He's got his hands full, and he's giving us some time to talk about the Buffalo Bills, which we always appreciate. Yeah, today's practice, good and bad, with Rapp and Bishop returning to practice. That's the good. No Deion Dawkins. That's the bad.
Okay, so an update on Dawkins. McDermott just went on with our compadres in Buffalo.
Yes.
And it's a back issue. But McDermott says he expects Dawkins to participate in the next practice on Friday.
Okay. Well, what McDermott says he expects something. We've seen that it happens. I expect James Cook to practice. Well, James Cook is back at practice, and he's got his fat extension as well. Yeah, those wide receivers are thin at wide receiver. And Josh Palmer, Josh didn't do it justice. I mean, this thing, he looked like a mummy out there with his leg wrapped the way it was. But he was out there. Elijah Moore, Tyrell Shavers, Samuel, Shakir, all missing practice today. But Alec Anderson making it back to individual positional work. I don't think we'll see him this weekend, as Josh was saying, but good to see him trending in the right direction as well. Next practice is the joint practice on Friday.
Friday. And then Saturday being an off day. Didn't even get to ask Josh. Cubs and Pirates. I know Browning's going to that game.
Oh, gotta go.
I know Tasker won't go, though.
Gotta go. Yeah, but he doesn't like, what did he call baseball?
It's a picnic sport.
Picnic sport.
It's a picnic sport.
Love that guy.
No. I love that take.
I love that guy. Baseball is a picnic sport. You can get away with that when you're Steve Tasker. You can say that and not offend people. Yeah, it's a picnic sport. Before we get to that joint practice on Friday, tomorrow on the show, we go to Chicago and we talk to our friend from our Odyssey Sports sister station, 670 The Score in Chicago. Mark Grody will spend some time with us, and we'll talk about the Bears preseason up to date. It's been getting a lot of national headlines and their management of Caleb Williams, the relationship between quarterback and new head coach Ben Johnson. What can we expect out of the Bears come Sunday? We heard today that the starters will get some time on Sunday. We don't know how much time, but the Bears starters will be out there.
Yeah, as Sean McDermott's not going to tell us anything as far as Josh Allen.
Usually doesn't.
I don't want to see James Cook out there. Let's just put that out there.
Not yet.
No. Maybe a little bit for the Tampa game, but get him a full week's worth of practice and then, have him dressed but not out there just like last week.
Oh, and speaking of Cook and the extension, which we'll talk about here more in depth at happy hour, Greg Thompson at Cover One is going to stop by tomorrow as well. 425, we'll talk about the cap ramifications of this deal.
Yeah, because not only just from the deal, but this deal doesn't affect anything, by the way, for 2025. This is just an extension. So, like the Curtis Samuel kind of angle, there's other things we could talk about the cap that I'm sure Brandon Beane would love to have that move. 2 years ago, hey, we need a core. Okay, let's get Rasul Douglas. Last year, hey, we need a wide receiver, Amari Cooper. Come on down. Is there going to be enough room to do such a thing this year, particularly if you can't find anyone for Samuel? I mean, we're just assuming that they would move Samuel, but
I think that, I don't know if they're going to find somebody to take on that contract for a guy that can't stay on the field.
It's not worth it to do a pick swap of, like Cleveland did that one time. Do you remember they took Brock Osweiler and I don't remember the particulars of the trade, but it was completely lopsided. So they would
Houston, right?
Houston, yeah, take the contract for eat up the space.
That's tomorrow afternoon. Mark Grody, 325. We'll talk about the Bears and the Bills, and then Greg Thompson talk some cap from Cover One, joining us at 425 tomorrow afternoon on the Sports Bar. Happy hour is next, Gino.
Let's talk about it. 866-4FAN, 866-4326. We've got shots, your calls, your takes coming up.
James Cook gets his extension. What's your reaction? We'd love to hear it next on The Fan.
And streaming online and in the Odyssey app at The Fan Rochester. The sports leader, 95.7 FM and AM 950. The Fan Rochester, an Odyssey sports station. The Fan Rochester Sports Update.
James Cook gets his deal, 4 years, $48 million. 30 of that is guaranteed. Cook on what's next.
It just shows how much they got my back, and you know how willing they willing to go with me in depth, and holding out. Especially the guys that came in with me, we all got rewarded, and now it's time for us to go play football and show them why we belong here.
Tomorrow, travel day. The Bills and Bears have a joint practice on Friday, and then preseason game number 2 is Sunday in Chicago, 6 o'clock for our coverage here on the Fan Rochester. The Red Wings get a big win this afternoon at Innovative Field. 14-3, they beat up Syracuse. Milwaukee's looking to make it 12 in a row. They're up 12-5 on Pittsburgh in the 8th. The Padres, with a win, can take a half-game lead in the NL West. They're up 7-0 on the Giants. Gene Battaglia, the Fan Rochester.
It's time to start the show and talk about the sports we saw. Inside jokes and takes from Danger and Battaglia. Bills and the Sabres and the Amherst. Who gave a microphone to these jerks? Welcome to the sports bar, that's where you are. Welcome to the sports bar, that's where you are. Welcome to the sports bar, that's where you are. With Danger and Battaglia.
Welcome to Happy Hour. You're back in the sports bar. It's Danger and Battaglia. We're glad you're with us. Thanks for making this part of your day at 95.7 FM, AM 950. If you're streaming on your phone, you're listening in the Odyssey app, we appreciate that. You can hear us on iHeartRadio, TuneIn as well. We're even streaming on YouTube and Twitch at The Fan Rochester. I'm Mike Danger. That's Gene Battaglia.
As I didn't have James Cook contract extension on my bingo card, but as I'm driving in, they had the... I think our breaking news sounder is better than Maggie and Perloff, by the way.
Ow! 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 It really hit me. I didn't know it was coming back that far.
Well, they're in New York City. If they played that they'd be like, they'd be offended. We're out of the blast zone. We can poke a little fun. We love John Sterling. He's the best.
John Sterling came on the show.
He's the best. Yeah. He's the absolute best. He's a legend. But him getting hit by a foul ball, that sounds like breaking news to me. That's
ow.
Ow.
Ow. Ow. $30 million guaranteed?
Listen, I, as recently as yesterday, said, I don't know that they're close. I don't get the impression that they're close. People are saying they're close. He's back at practice. They must be close. Even then, I was like, nah, I don't know. This surprised me in a good way. I'm excited for Bills fans. I'm excited for the Bills and James Cook getting what, well, maybe not exactly what he wanted, but he got $30 million guaranteed. Do you think James Cook won this negotiation? Do you think by sitting out, by holding in, that he ultimately got what he was looking for?
It's better to get the $30 million now than, say, 31 or 32. Hear me out, because the risk of injury at the running back position is great. It really is. And, we could be talking about this contract in a much different light. Like, you didn't need to do that. Oh, my gosh, look what this is putting the Buffalo Bills. You had to do this for this primary reason. The fact that this is it. This team is built right now to win it all. We can say that out loud. So did the Bills overpay or not? Probably they did. Was it a little out of character to pay the running back? You betcha it was. But as far as chemistry and vibes and culture, which they put a lot of value into culture here, Danger, Bills fans should be, pleased that this got done.
So a couple of things that came from the announcement this morning of the extension. So immediately you hear 4 years, $48 million, which puts it at $12 million on average with $30 million guaranteed. The thing you were hearing about the guaranteed money is this is the most guaranteed running money for a running back in the past 5 years. False.
No.
It's false. Saquon got $36 million guaranteed. So I don't know who, I don't know as far as how this was reported, if it was just the agent telling the insider and the insider running with whatever the agent said, and the agent knowing we can say whatever we want because the insider is not going to fact check anything. But that's factually incorrect. Saquon got his deal done in $36 million guaranteed. So the $30 million guaranteed is nothing to sneeze at for James Cook. But you've got a lot of different incentives and bonuses in this $48 million extension, and I could bore you with a lot of different numbers. There are a couple of interesting elements of this contract that we're learning about as far as these guarantees go. New money average on the 4-year extension is actually $11.5 million per year, with $15.28 million fully guaranteed at signing, which he did today. By next year, by 2026, the full guarantee increases to $25.91 million. The total injury guarantee is $30 million, with $28.82 million fully guaranteed by 2027. But this is the clause that I think is interesting. There's a $1 million escalator for 2029 if any 2 years between 2025 through 2028 he participates in 45% of the offensive snaps and the team makes the playoffs in those same 2 seasons. What is that? That's James Cook saying, I want to be out there more. If you want me to earn this money, put me out there on third down. Or maybe it's the Bills saying, we want you out there more. We're going to put you out on third down. I don't think they need to change anything with how they've managed his reps, his snaps. I think on third down, you have one of the best in the league at Ty Johnson. I think Dalvin Cook is a cautionary tale for James Cook to see how he got driven into a wall while with Minnesota. James Cook in his reps have been managed well by the Bills so far through his career. I don't want to see any of that change. I don't think they need to change anything in terms of how they use his usage is fine for me the way it's been.
Well, I do believe, unless you're a freak like Derrick Henry, like no matter how good you are, it's going to end, right? How do you manage the carries here? And we'll credit DiBiase in Buffalo for pointing this out, because we knew James Cook didn't have a lot of touches at Georgia. But when I put it in this context, okay, James Cook, his time in college and the pro, 927 touches. Ashton Genty, who hasn't touched the ball officially in the NFL, 830.
Yeah.
Wait a second. We're all James Cook is in the prime right now. If we are expecting this year, next year, the year after, this deal's not going to look that bad. It's not going to look like, oh my gosh, we're so underwater on this.
Correct. And God willing, he stays healthy and they continue to kind of manage his reps the way they have, keep him fresh when you need him most. Then you could say, all right, all bets are off. Get out there. And, I know every Bills fan is upset about his usage in the AFC Championship game. He wasn't out there when you needed him out there, and he's the best player on the field, not named Josh Allen. Do you trust him? Will Sean McDermott learn to trust James Cook in those moments? That remains to be seen. I don't need to see James Cook on Sunday night. I can tell you that.
No, but
join practice for sure.
Join practice, getting contact, getting yourself all kind of calloused up, as you would say, getting ready for the regular season. That's why there wasn't a deadline, but if you put it in that context of, all right, be ready week 1 against Baltimore, this was the time to kind of do that. Think Terry Pegula had anything to do with this?
I get the sense from Hard Knocks that he is more involved, not meddlesome, but curious. He asks a lot of questions. You see him watching film. He's up in the box with Brandon Beane and Brian Gaine.
They're not showing Terry Pegula offering an opinion. It's just like, oh, tell me about this.
Tell me about the quarterbacks. Yeah.
Oh,
Last week it was tell me about the corners. How's Trey doing? He's involved. He wants to know where his money is being spent. I think that, but he also said, I think it was last week's episode that he said, you hire good people and you let them do their job so you don't have to micromanage. I don't know that he's micromanaging as much as he's just being curious, asking questions. Fascinating again last night on Hard Knocks to see Sean McDermott, Brandon Beane engaging with the owner, who doesn't know football, isn't a football guy, but just knows what he knows from being around those guys, and then of course raising a glass in an amazing celebration of wealth.
Oh, what was that? Let's have a toast with the champagne. What are we toasting here? What are we toasting? That you got people to invest in your team, Terry? Was that really what this was?
What's
the first get together?
What's the music for the Masters?
The thrill of victory.
Thrill of victory.
Thrill of victory. It's not the piano tones. This
I
is the
know.
money music.
I know my man Gene Battaglia, and as soon as that scene happened on
You should have
Hard Knocks,
texted me last
in
night.
my head, I'm like, the thrill of victory is playing. It's there's Josie Altidore. There's Vince Carter. There's Pete Coelho. There's everybody.
Bum, bum. We are making money. And hi, I'm Terry Pagula, and I want to thank you, investors, because let's raise a glass here. We are now at 90% PSLs, and we still have how many more months? We are not investing a dime of our own money into this stadium.
Amazing.
Thank you, New York State, and thank you, Bills fans.
I'll drink to that, Terry. Where's Smithers? Is Smithers around here somewhere?
No, that's Gwelly Smithers.
Oh no, come on, we like Gwelly.
I do. Oh, that's right, Mr. Pagula.
Yes, Terry, yes. That is correct. We haven't spent any of your money on the new stadium, and we will rake all the money from here on out.
Well, I think Josh Reed was accurate, and I'm sure Bills fans were fine with it. But what did you really learn last night? You knew about Buffalo Joe. We certainly know about DeMar Hamlin.
No, they hit all the beats. They hit all the familiar beats. If you're a Bills fan, it's catnip. If you're a Bills fan, you feel like you have to watch. You're obligated to watch. This is your team. But you have to recognize, as a Bills fan, they hit every emotional string that they could hit. Oh, let's talk about DeMar Hamlin again. Let's talk about Sean McDermott's skin cancer again. These are things that, for a national audience, for people that are outside of our region, oh, wow. Yeah, the Bills, they're good guys. They're really interesting. Oh, that KJ Hamler's so funny. He got a scooter. Did you see the scooter? That's so funny. He's such a funny guy.
Wow. The Sean McDermott speech about expectation and being consistent and everything. Wow, that's a coach that really has it together. Wow, I wish your coach was more like that. Ha, 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 ha. But it doesn't inspire me, Danger, next year when they do Hard Knocks.
Oh, you're not watching.
No, I'm not watching.
It was a reminder. Last night was a reminder of why I stopped paying attention to Hard Knocks years ago. My team was on it last year. Do you know how many minutes of Hard Knocks I watched?
I know the answer to this.
The answer is zero. Because what am I going to learn? I'm going to see what Caleb Williams looks like throwing a football as his rookie year. I'm fine. I'll wait until the regular season. It feels very, very much like years past, kind of propaganda-ish for the NFL. It's very sterile. There's not a lot of controversy, not a lot of substance. The production is fantastic.
Unlike episode 1, we didn't go outside the borders of Fisher when it came to Rochester. They gave us the skyline from the wrong angle in episode 1.
The angle was
they
fine.
gave you the ice cream place in episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't get more beauty shots there of Fisher.
Mm-hmm.
Putting the camera high up in the air.
Yes. And Joe Andreessen. That was when we knew, right away. We knew, okay, Andreessen's going to be featured. And it was right out of the gate. I'm thinking, okay, this is either us on Hard Knocks or not. Right here, first few minutes of the show. Yeah, well, damn it. Cutting room floor for Gino and I.
Although the secret winner, CMF. CMF, JP Lossman in a CMF T-shirt right there.
I'm telling you, back in the day, I remember this vividly when we first started training camp at St. John Fisher, year 2000. Management went out of their way to buy gear, T-shirts, Under Armours, whatever they could buy to give the players, knowing, hey, the players are going to be in front of the camera. They're going to be at press conferences. Mm-hmm. They're wearing our gear, our CMF gear. That's a good look for us. And who knew that 25 years later, a player would be on the lap of J.P. Lossman wearing one of those CMF shirts.
What a difference 25 years makes, because I can't imagine any player or the league. Let's start there. the league would allow anything like that. No, it's only the official license stuff that you're allowed. Even the coaches, you can't wear your own stuff.
They tightened that up pretty quickly, and thus we stopped sending CMF gear to the Bills when they were in town. But that was the closest we got to being on Hard Knocks was our sister station's logo on J.P. Lossman's T-shirt while holding Joe Andreessen on his lap.
You got the Takeo Spike story.
Yeah, which we knew.
Yeah.
So the Buffalo Joe legend continues to grow. DeMar Hamlin, a lot of recapping what we already knew. And he's a special cat. He's a special breed of cat. No question about it. The KJ Hamler stuff was fun. That was fun. And the McDermott stuff, look, I mean, again, I don't know what you expect, but that's kind of what I expect out of McDermott. It's not cliche, but it was the speech about, not throwing a chair through a window or whatever his old coach did. I like that. That was, if you're going to showcase McDermott in any way in front of his team, that isn't a bad excerpt.
Yeah, and then McDermott just walking you through
the skin routine.
Yeah, the skin routine, and like how he's got to prepare, and even on a day where you're at 85 degrees, you got to wear long sleeves.
Yeah, and I imagine that that's partially what the Bills want to do. They want to put out there positive messages, preventative measures about skin cancer, preventative measures about people who suffer cardiac arrest, and making that part of it felt almost PSA-ish, right?
Yeah.
It's a public service announcement, and it's disguised as NFL programming. And
the one thing I did learn, and I didn't. So the whole, and you do feel bad, right, for the Pagulas that Kim, like that happened.
No, I don't wish that on anybody.
No. The story that in the Pagula estate down in Florida, they had the device, the heart device, the AD. They couldn't find it. Terry Pagula saying that they couldn't find it in the home. Now, it's one thing to have it, but it's another thing to know exactly where.
How big is your home? Like, I know where,
Well, where's ours in our office? Do you know? I think it's right around the corner. Yeah, we should all okay.
It's right around the corner.
Yeah.
But, like, I have a couple of fire extinguishers scattered throughout the house. I know where those are. I'm just thinking, if I'm Terry Pagula, how big is your home? I saw it. I think I saw it a couple of years ago, but I haven't been in that wing for the last couple of years. I don't know. Luckily, CPR saved Kim's life. And again, if that element of it felt like a public service announcement wrapped in NFL programming, that and Sean McDermott's skin routine. And it's part of the reason why it's like, okay, I can not watch Hard Knocks. I'll watch Hard Knocks. It's the Bills. And it's fun, but it's not giving you anything. It's not giving you anything of substance.
No, and the Rochester portion now has officially ended on Hard Knocks. They fly right through this. So where are they going to pick up? Hey, they'll pick up like Brandon Beane. I'm sure now it'll be Brandon Beane on the phone. Let's get the deal done, whatever, like at 11
Brandon Beane works late nights to try and get deals done for his players. Show the clock on the wall, 10:30 at night. Brandon Beane's still in the office.
Brandon Beane calling up Mr. Pagula. And then will they show that? Well, go ahead and make the deal.
Pacing back and forth. Really got to get this done. The joint practice. In the heat of summer, things can get violent. Little fisticuffs, a little scuffle. Yeah, we'll see. That'll be episode 3 next Tuesday at 9. A couple other notes from around the NFL. Shedeur Sanders injured oblique in practice.
Now they're saying day to day, but he's not going to play. In the next preseason.
That's a
game
bummer.
against the Eagles.
I mean, that would have been, that's a fun storyline to kind of like continue to watch. You're going to get Dylan Gabriel out there now.
Tom Pelissero had the photograph from training camp. You know how the Hall of Fame always has, here's our photograph of the year. Maybe you know that or not. Maybe you didn't. This one, I don't know how you could top. It's Shedeur Sanders. It's just 3 people in an empty field. Shedeur Sanders talking to Jalen Hurts. And then behind them, arms folded, Big Dom. Big Dom's making sure nobody's going to this is a private conversation.
That's right. I'm Big Dom. You're not messing with my guy. You know what goes on my diet?
Listen, you can ask Jalen a certain number of questions, and I'm going to have to ask you to leave Shador.
Big Dom.
I don't care who your father was.
Big Dom is driving the golf cart that has Jalen and Shador in it. What do you need? You need a ride? I got a ride. I got it.
That guy's still around.
Yeah, he ain't going anywhere. He's a legend. Big Tom.
Yeah, if he ever stopped working, he would be the guy hey, come on out to our bar tonight. It's going to be ladies' night, and Big Dom will be there.
Will he be there with Big Papa? Who's it? Big Daddy. Big Daddy.
Big Daddy.
Your friend Big Daddy,
Big
that we
Daddy,
learned about? You have a friend named Big Daddy?
Big Daddy and Worm. And
we need to hear more about your friend group, Gino. This is far more exciting than my neighborhood.
It's, that's a good point. And
far more exciting than everybody named Tony that lives in my neighborhood. All the Tonys and Mikes and Nicks that I have in my neighborhood. The Bears are going to start their starters on Sunday night, too. We learned that today as well from Ben Johnson. That includes Caleb Williams. As far as how much they play, that is yet to be determined. You hate to see bad news around the Miami Dolphins. I'm sorry to break this down, but Chop Robinson was carted off during joint practice with the Lions.
However, he put on Instagram later he's fine.
Yeah, no big deal.
No big deal. So,
and I thought this was interesting as well, Gino. I wanted to get your reaction because we learned today that Jody Allen sold the Portland Trail Blazers for $4 billion.
To the guy who owns the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yep.
This is the guy that literally oh, hey, radio guy, we're only going to pay you $25,000. He's that cheap.
He funded the AAF, right? Yeah. And the AAF was defunct. Didn't even make it a whole season.
So, yeah, the storyline here, and this is the one to watch. Let me just kind of pull this up here. And this is, you could say it's the Allen estate, and it's connected to Seattle, and eventually they're going to have to make a move for Seattle. Really, it's about the future of Portland. As ESPN's headline is, Dundon intends to keep the team in Portland.
Mm-hmm.
You had a story just 2 weeks ago that the NBA wants Portland to get a new arena. I don't know. Maybe this feels like Sonics 2.0 in the Northwest, just to me. Just the way this would seem, that this guy is coming across to buy a team, and he intends, no ass. Why would that even be a debate? This is a legacy franchise in the end. You intend to keep the team here?
Yeah.
Why isn't that part of the deal? Why isn't that, locked down?
Well, I think the NBA would just like to have Seattle have a basketball team again. It doesn't have to be a relocated Portland team to Seattle.
Well, I'm thinking maybe this guy wants to move the team somewhere else. I don't.
You know what? He'll build an arena. You know why? Because the money's not in the team. The money's in the arena.
Yeah, he wants Portland and Oregon to build that. That's your story.
And there you go. But if he got $4 billion for the Trailblazers, the Seahawks going to go for 10? Who's buying the Seahawks? I mean, the Seahawks will go for whatever somebody wants to pay for them. But I wouldn't be shocked if it gets to double digits.
There's something we've talked, Seahawk insiders with the way the laws are set up in the state of Washington, that this is coming. This team has to be sold, and it would be therefore if it's in an estate, it has to go to the highest bidder. Maybe that's what this was ultimately. Okay, you couldn't find the local owner because they weren't ponying up $4 billion. I'm sorry, that's crazy money for an NBA team. $2 billion for what was it, Tampa Bay Lightning? That's crazy too.
That's a small market NBA team too. The Portland Trailblazers. That's not Philadelphia. That's not New York. That's not Detroit. That's a small market NBA team. $4 billion.
When does this whole industry of sports have a recession? When do these franchise values stop? And you may say it's already starting if the Buffalo Bills were the first one to have to bring in, investment, private equity.
I don't know that it ever stops. I think it just keeps going up and it keeps going up. And the guys that are investing in it, the groups that now are investing in teams just become a bigger part of it.
Jerry Jones today telling this in his Netflix documentary that he's been for years battling stage 4 melanoma. Right now, he has no tumors. Jones is 82 years old, according to the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. Normally, there's a 50% survival rate for anybody that is at stage 4.
I don't like this term, cancer sucks, but this is cancer thirst. This is Jerry Jones stealing the headline from Sean McDermott. We saw Sean McDermott on Hard Knocks talking about his skin cancer and said, no, I'm Jerry Jones of the Dallas Cowboys. Let me tell you about my stage 4 melanoma.
Is it that, or is it another Bill storyline? Hey, Jerry, what's going on with Micah Parsons? Well, let me tell you.
About my skin cancer? Yeah, the classic deflect.
Yeah.
That's good. Glad he's okay. Don't wish that on anybody. 50-50 chance of survival, and he made it through.
Look, if you're a Cowboy fan, you probably knew about this Netflix documentary. I forgot about it.
I knew about it. I saw
just
some people at the premiere, the Los Angeles premiere. Really? A Los Angeles premiere for a Netflix doc that chronicles Jerry Jones and the mediocrity of that team for the last 30-plus years?
He's the modern-day Al Davis. Like, you won a lot of championships long, long ago, but you think it was yesterday.
Team hasn't been the same since Jimmy Johnson, right? Like, that was the last time. Jimmy Johnson had that team humming. You had the season with Barry, but no.
That was on fumes. You won that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same talent on fumes. You're right. We got to get to a round of shots next on the Fan.
Yeah, a couple baseball notes. Like, what are the Dodgers doing? You want to talk about a team that's farting around? They got to, wake up here.
What did Shohei do? Didn't Shohei get into trouble? Did I see him cross my feet?
Yeah.
He and his agent are bad dudes.
Yeah, we can get into that lawsuit there. The team that you think is fake, the Brewers.
Fraudulent. I mean, they're not going to lose a game for the rest of the season, but when the postseason hits, gone.
Yeah, got those stories are coming up.
Okay, we'll get to a round of shots. Don't forget about last call as well. You can have the final word in the sports bar when you join us at 585-866-4FAN, 866-4326.
You're listening to the Sports Bar. update.
11 o'clock last night, that's when Brandon Beane came to an agreement with the representation for running back James Cook. Cook gets the extension. It starts next year. 4 years, $48 million. 30 of that is guaranteed. Cook speaking today on what's next.
I mean, just continue to keep doing me, being me. And yeah, hopefully bring a Super Bowl here. That's what I'm trying to do, and just keep elevating my game.
Bills and Bears have a joint practice on Friday. Preseason game number 2, Sunday night in Chicago, 6 o'clock Sunday for our coverage here on The Fan. One other Bills note from practice today, Deion Dawkins missing practice again. Head coach Sean McDermott telling WGR that it's a back issue. Dawkins expected to be back at practice on Friday. The Red Wings with a big win over Syracuse today, 14-3. Nick Schnell with his 17th homer of the season. Gene Battaglin, the sports leader, The Fan, Rochester.
Listen to the Sports Bar with Danger and Battaglia on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. The Fan, Rochester.
Correct. If you missed Josh Reed or PJ Glasser, search the Sports Bar wherever you get your shows. You'll find all of our guest appearances there. And if you watch the Sports Bar, our YouTube channel or on Twitch, you can go back and watch any part of the show you may have missed on our YouTube channel at The Fan Rochester. Like and subscribe while you're there. It is time for a round of shots.
So, baseball, few getaway day games here. The Padres are up on the Giants 10-0. They're in the 6th, which is noteworthy. Let's assume that holds. The Padres aren't going to blow this. They'll be in first place in the NL West.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on with the Dodgers? They just bored with the regular season. That's the only explanation, Danger, I can give you. They're now 0-5 against the Angels this season. The Angels. Shohei Ohtani is trying to put an end to that. He's on the mound tonight for the Dodgers. And, with that, maybe the Dodgers can still remain tied with the Padres at the end of today.
Is the NL representative coming out of the West? It's either the Dodgers or the Padres, right?
If the Cubs had gotten another arm or two, I would have put your team in there, and I'm
not
sure.
enthusiastic about them.
I'm not sure. I can't buy into the Phillies, even though they have a closer. The Mets right now are a little skittish. I'm trying to be neutral.
Mm-hmm.
How are the Brewers doing this?
That's a great question.
They're going to, let's see if it's gone final. It has. That's their 12th straight win, and apropos, it's a 12-5 final over Pittsburgh. So this is the Brewers. Apparently there's a big burger chain that everybody gets free food tomorrow for having a 12 straight win.
Tell me it's Culver's. Is it Culver's?
No.
The Butterburger? Home of the Butterburger? Do you know about the Butterburger, Gino?
Well, the sound of it.
Culver's is a burger chain in the Midwest, and they're known for a thing called the Butterburger.
George Webb.
Don't know about that.
No. It sounds like this might be the Bill Grays of...
Fair enough.
George Webb? Oh, yeah, I love George
I like
Webb.
a little George Webb. Yeah, I'm going to take my kids over to Bill Gray's, and then we're going to go to the Bills game.
Oh, yeah? Well, I'm going to go up to Buffalo, and I'm going to go get some hot wings and blue cheese, and then after that, I'm going to take my kids to the Bills game.
That's the guy they needed on Hard Knocks last night.
So this has happened twice before. George Webb in 2018. The Brewers won 12 in a row, and you got to go back to 1987.
Good, Wisconsin. Enjoy your free burgers and your early exit from the postseason.
Like, if you live in Wisconsin, how many years does that take off your life? I'm not trying to be cheeky, but as I'm watching this whole series, hey, eat this brat, eat this cheese, drink this beer.
Oh, yeah? We don't have brats here. We have white hots and red hots from Zweigels.
And garbage plates.
And a plate. I'm going to go get a plate.
Bart Winkler was making a comment about this, and I thought it was funny. It crossed my feed. You hear Bart Winkler late nights here on the Fan Rochester, and he comes on with us from time to time. He's our resident cheesehead. He mentioned that he believes the rest of the country hates what the Brewers are doing. And there's a part of me that's like, okay, I mean, I don't like it because I'm a Cubs guy, but does the rest of the country hate that the Brewers, virtually a team of unknowns, are they just winning everything and they're doing what they're doing?
No. See, this is the disease of Binkley and everybody in Kansas City. we're not hating you. We're asking the open question. How are you doing this? This isn't sustainable. Let's take a look at last year when you laid down against the Mets.
He made the comparison that he thought it was that maybe he's making it up the way he felt a lot of people were upset about the Sydney Sweeney jeans ad. Like, or were people really upset by that ad where a beautiful woman is wearing jeans? Like, I've yet to meet the person that was really like upset by that, yet it was amplified however it was amplified. So he thinks that maybe that's the case, that there are fans, baseball fans, seeing what the Brewers are doing and be like, wow, that's impressive.
No, do us a favor if you're sports bar regular. Call Bart up tonight. He's on at 11 and say, hey, Rochester, the guys were talking about you today, Bart. Like, no, we're not hating. We just don't think it's real. There's a difference.
I'm hating a little bit. I'm a Cubs guy.
Well, you're admitting it, right?
I would like to see the Brewers fall on their face. I would like that. But the Brewers hate the Cubs. The Craig Counsell's a turncoat.
Look, they have a great manager in this guy who was doing all. So that's also like Counsell leaving, the turncoat that he was. You could have owned that state. Would this team be where they were if Counsell had stayed? No, they brought in a better manager. So, Bart, we're not hating. We just don't think this is sustainable.
Well, I'm hating a little bit. I just kind of want to see them fall on their face in the postseason like they always do.
Back to the Dodgers. Just kind of skipped over this. Shohei Ohtani. This is the story you brought up. And his agent being sued by a real estate developer in Hawaii and a broker. They allege that Shohei and his agent sabotaged the $240 million luxury housing development project. The lawsuit claiming that Ohtani and his agent used Ohtani's celebrity status to demand concessions from the developers and ultimately got them removed from the project. My question is, why does Shohei keep finding himself in these situations? Whether he's guilty or innocent, it's just that, hey, here you are again.
I don't think Shohei realizes that people around him are using his celebrity status. And, I'm not saying that he's an innocent victim in all of this as well. I think Shohei probably knows what's going on to a point, but more likely there's just a lot of people in his entourage, in his inner circle, that are using him for his name, for his status, to benefit themselves. Does Shohei, does he really have time to be invested in real estate?
No.
Right.
Not at all. No, that's an easy one. No.
So, we'll see. I saw that. I'm like, why is Shohei's name always in trouble? Why is he always in trouble? Whether it's this or the gambling thing that his translator went away for? Fall Guy went away for?
These properties, Danger. Want to take a guess with the entry point they would be selling them for in Hawaii?
Now, are these homes? Are these condos?
Luxury housing is what they're calling it.
Luxury housing, Hawaii. They have to start at like 1.1 million.
17
million.
Yeah, that's the starting point. And Ohtani,
easy, big spender. Wow.
Ohtani was brought in to be the celebrity endorser, okay? And as part of that, for his services, he was going to receive one of these luxury condo towns.
Who's the market for that? Because it's not the locals.
No,
sure.
it's everybody in Japan.
Yeah,
that
it's
wants
the
to come over,
millionaires in Japan that want a vacation in Hawaii.
Yeah, oh my gosh, we could be in the same complex as Shohei. Write a check. Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. And so they're suing because they think he muscled them out of this?
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head. Yes. That Shohei is guilty. Again, who is your inner circle? You have your wife, you have your dog, but maybe you should change. Your agent got you into the situation. Whether you're guilty or not, it's all splashed across that you're getting sued.
While we're talking about real estate, are they handing out real estate licenses at Wegmans now? Everybody's a real estate agent.
Careful, because we have many real estate agents listening to our show.
Oh,
right
listen,
now.
I love all of you, and all of you are very successful. You know how I know? Because you tell me about it constantly. I constantly hear about your closings and everything. You're all very successful. I'm very happy for all of you. I just think it feels a little oversaturated. I have a lot of friends who are real estate agents, and I say the same thing. There's a lot of real estate agents. We got a lot.
Yeah, I don't need anybody part-time doing it. I would just trust that to.
Just think, like, you're all very successful. I hear about it. It's in my feed constantly. Congratulations on another closing. You're all very successful.
Why does the real estate headshot always the same with the over-the-top smile? And why do they feel the need to put themselves on the sign?
What if let's get like a badass headshot for a real estate agent. Like, I'm gonna go in there and kick ass for you. You want to know about this house? I'm gonna snort black mold directly to make sure that this house is safe for you and your family. That's what I'm gonna do.
I'm gonna go like a way off the beaten path, okay? But a lot of homes have inside jokes, and there's one particular agent. I won't mention her name, but she advertises everywhere. And my daughter and I have had this game where we clip the ad and, like, I'll hide it under her pillow, or she'll, like, put it on my dashboard, like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
And we call the agent, like, stop with the ads. Like, we keep getting these. No, I'm not selling my house. Oh, great. You sold somebody, like, a house 2 doors down. I don't care. So we literally have the Mary Labini game in our house. I said I wouldn't say it, but Mary, stop advertising. I'm not going to sell my house to you.
See, maybe she needs to advertise more. I've never heard of her.
No, don't encourage
But here's
that.
what I'm telling you. She's very successful. I'm sure she is, because she's told everybody how successful
she is.
She's sold millions and millions of dollars. There's just, it's oversaturated. There's too many of you.
So it's the Mary game, like in her house, everything. Like,
Yeah,
stop.
and I love y'all. You're all doing a great job. I love that you're working. I love that you're getting after it. It feels like there's too much. It feels like there's too many.
We started with Shohei.
That's right.
Shohei's
well, look,
Shohei's on the mound tonight.
Shohei may be looking for an agent soon. So if you're a real estate agent in Rochester and you want to latch on to a guy who apparently is oblivious of every business dealing that happens outside of the diamond, that's your guy.
Watch what happens tonight, because Shohei, when the whole gambling thing came up, out to a hot start, he'll no-hit the Angels tonight.
Yeah, right. Gonna pitch angry.
We're only 5 days away from the start of the U.S. Open, which, if you're a tennis fan, it's great. And I like the event, too. Danger, it does make me a little sad, because if you're like us and you mark time by sports, that means, summer is about ready to end.
Yep.
I mean, that's the official end, not your daughter's 4th of July firework thing.
No, her take is always that summer is over when the last firework explodes. It's a pretty strong take from a 21-year-old girl that doesn't share a lot of strong opinions. That's a strong opinion.
The next time I'm going to see her, I'm going to say, every 4th of July, I'm going to think of that take, and it's going to upset me.
Don't worry. She's getting her karma. She's down in Tampa right now, and knowing what the weather is like in Tampa, she's not saying that fall is imminent. Believe me.
Back to the U.S. Open. Today, the organizers gave a wild card entry to Venus Williams. Venus Williams is now 45 years old. Yeah, she's been playing, on the side here. She's been entering tournaments, but she hasn't been in this in a few years. Venus now will be the oldest to play a singles event at the U.S. Open since 1981.
I don't like this. I want to remember them at their peak, at their greatest. Like, this doesn't feel like it's going to end well.
I bet you she wins one.
Okay.
Well, we're going to tune in, right?
Yeah, maybe.
You'll
Yeah.
see Serena out there.
Yeah.
We'll feel good about ourselves.
Yeah.
2 years from now, will Kansas football be a thing? Don't laugh. Today, the school got a gift from a donor. David Booth is his name. $300 million. This to give upgrades to the stadium, of course, NIL money. I guess give that money if it makes you happy.
Give generously. You have millions and millions of dollars in the bank account. You don't know how much time you have left, and you care about Kansas football. Give them $300 million to upgrade the stadium and pay their student athletes. Good job.
Does John Wildhack go over his hit list tonight? Like, did you see the story in Kansas?
You're right.
Look, you want to make a mark right now at Syracuse football.
That's right. Every university, every AD is looking at that saying, why? Where's that guy for us? How do we get that guy to commit that kind of cash to our program?
Finally, and because this really doesn't have much to do with sports other than the podcast that was out and other than want to make Danger's head explode, is this quote self-aware or is it an arrogant F you? Taylor Swift on her boyfriend's podcast, New Heights, quote, "We all know there's one thing that male sports fans want to see in their space and on their screens. It's more of me."
Everything is calculated. Everything is calculated. This is absolutely calculated. Her whole career, she's the victim. She's been the victim of bad relationships. Her music was taken from her. She is the queen of playing the role of victim.
So, like, male sports fans, don't drag me into this.
No, she has to.
No, stop.
Gene,
Like,
you're the enemy. Gene, you're the enemy. You're the one that booed her when she showed up at the Chiefs game. You're the one that turned off the TV when her face showed up during the NFL game. We don't want to see her. I've never once said I have a problem with her showing up to Kansas. I don't. But let's lump all guys in one pool and say,
if there's one thing that male sports fans, hey, Taylor, aren't you being sexist a little bit there? Why male sports fans?
It fits her narrative. It fits her career arc, her story arc. She is the most brilliant businesswoman we've seen since Oprah, and she knows exactly how to play her audience. She knows exactly who she's talking to. She's engaged. She's cutthroat. She knows exactly. She's calculating. She knows exactly what she's doing, and saying that is absolutely on brand for Taylor Swift. We got to take a quick break. Last call is next. 866-4FAN if you want to pull up a stool.
You're listening to the The Fan, Rochester.
Last call on the sports bar, Danger and Battaglia at 866-4326, 585-866-4FAN. Quickly, we go to John in Rochester. Hey, buddy.
Hey, guys. I'm pumped up about James Cook, and you know how I felt about that. I would have considered trading him, but I'm glad we didn't. And you guys have brought it out that he doesn't have a lot of wear and tear on him. He didn't have a lot of activity in college, and he's going to be fresh. The other thing, though, I hope they negotiated you know how when he scores on a good touchdown, he'll do flips in the end zone? I hope they prevent that from happening. He's going to hurt himself one of these days.
No, see, you, me, or Gene would hurt ourselves trying to do that.
Right.
James Cook will be okay doing it. John, appreciate the call. Thanks for joining us, as always, for Last Call at 866-4326. I think the best news to come out of the James Cook extension is next April we don't have to talk about the Bills taking a running back in round 2 or round 1 or any of the early rounds. The Bills are now immune from needing a running back with James Cook under contract for the next 4.
That will be people will still say, though, they should.
I would advise against it. I think you could invest in other positions at that point. Got some positions solidified with these extensions that Brandon Beane was hanging out this year. It's all in. This is it. This is the window. This is the season.
This is it. Here we go. Greg Thompson will join us tomorrow from Cover One. What does this mean for the Bills cap in 2026? What are some of the next things coming up? And we'll go to Chicago tomorrow. Mark Grody, Bears sideline reporter. We'll get the Chicago side of things.
Yeah, you hear Mark on our Odyssey Sports sister station, 670 The Score in Chicago. We got a little preview of the joint practices coming up on Friday for the Bills and the Bears, and also Sunday night's Week 2 preseason action. If you missed Josh Reed from WIVB, if you missed PJ Glasser of Send It In, search the Sports Bar wherever you get your shows, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all of our guest appearances there. And a big thank you to everybody watching the stream on our YouTube channel at The Fan Rochester. To go back and watch any part you may have missed. JR Sport Brief next on The Fan.
You're listening to the Sports Bar with Danger and Battaglia.